Drew, check. Downs. Testing the levels, high and low.
Cupcakes and touchdown. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On the program, and we're good here. Now we're up, and then we're back down.
Weddington up a touchdown early on East.
Hey, yo.
On program. Sorry about that open, guys. I think my body literally froze. So we got through it. That's all that matters.
Yes, can you hear me?
Well, they have better graphics this time.
Ooh, there's a live chat.
Oh, is that the Hagel?
Yeah, it should be. I assume that's Reggie.
Thanks for those charts, Darren. Just kidding. Didn't send me anything. Whatever.
Their wife for his advanced victories over Western Southeast Yeoman and last week over Charlotte Catholic. Winner of tonight's contest will face off the winner of the Weddington Easter Fight game. This is played down in Weddington tonight in Union County. And the winner of that contest will face Chapel Hill on December 21st for the 4A state championship, facing the winner of the East region. Third appearance here at Wimbledon Stadium.
The Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by My48. It's a heavy-hitting 4A matchup with a trip to the region final on the line. The Huff Huskies, Grimsley Whirlies. Fantastic and chilly night for high school football. Welcome to Jamison Stadium here in the heart of Greensboro with the former Catawba O-lineman Mark Covert. I'm EvanBudrovich. Third straight year, these two top 5 ranked teams in the state meet deep in the playoffs. Mark, how does Grimsley and Huff advance farther in this tournament?
Well, familiar foes, right? So these are two teams that know each other, know what they do well. Huff wants to get the football out, get it into the space so their playmakers can go out there and make plays and play a hard-nosed brand of defense. Cold weather works that way, right? Grimsley running the football. Mitchell Summers coming out, making noise like he's done all season behind an experienced offensive line, followed up by the #1 recruit in the country, Faison Brandon at quarterback.
For more on this heavy-hitting matchup, here's our sideline reporter, Hannah Brady.
Well, guys, tonight's postseason matchup is one that has ended the Huskies' playoff run for the past 2 years. In 2022, the Whirlies beat the Huskies in triple overtime, and last season they prevented them from making it to the 4th round of the playoffs. I had the chance to catch up with Huff head coach Sean Baker earlier this week, and he told me he's tried not to put so much emphasis on this matchup, but rather for his team tonight, they're playing for pride. He hopes that they can just continue to play how they played all season long and let the chips fall where they may. Meanwhile, for Grimsley, they've been prepping for this game since January. It's why they work so hard in the off season. So head coach Daryl Brown has really put the emphasis on playing tough and playing hard tonight. And despite the weather conditions, he told me that they're not going to have heaters on the sidelines. He said that his players have been acclimated this week in practice to the cold temperatures, so they should be ready to play their best and get the job done tonight, guys.
Thanks, Hannah. 3rd time's the charm, and this is one of the biggest matchups in the state. When we come back, opening kick and lineups, Grimsley and Huff, part 3. Winner goes to a region final when we return on My 48. Fantastic matchup, Huff and Grimsley. His two 4A powers have met for the 3rd straight playoffs. And this place is ready to rock and roll. Jamison Stadium, temperatures in the 20s. That's no problem for these two heavy-hitting programs, Mark.
No, not at all. Look, playoff football is what they're both used to, getting this deep into the postseason as well. They are acclimated to it. They know how to get here. We're in for a show tonight, partner.
Grimsley, a state champion of 3 years prior. Huff has made this 4th round 3 of the last 5 years. And how about our keys for tonight's matchup? And you start up front with the size of Huff on the offensive line.
Yeah, you got to execute up front. Really, they kept Mallard Creek in their game last week because of some mishaps up front. Got to be able to execute, especially early on, and play with conviction. Grimsley's going to throw a lot at them. Make a decision, stick to it, and play your game. And speaking of Grimsley, see it there, remain unfazed. Faison Brandon, best quarterback in the country, recruiting-wise, going to have to be the leader that he is, lead this group to a victory here tonight, and not bat in the eye of some adversity tonight and winning those one-on-one matchups, especially on the outside. You're going to want to watch these receivers versus corner play on both sides of the football. Those are where those matchups are going to be won and lost and could have a huge impact on the game tonight.
It's a battle at the quarterback position. Austin Peak commit Trey Blankeny for Huff some crazy numbers, 46 total touchdowns. What a playmaker for the Huskies.
Just an absolute athlete and really underrated, honestly, at that quarterback spot. Very strong in the pocket, stands tall, and leads this offense with conviction, as we already said. He's going to be paramount to their efforts here tonight.
And then for Grimsley, the #1 quarterback in the class of 2026, he's heading to Tennessee. What does Faison Brandon do that's special?
Can't say enough about the 2024 North Carolina Gatorade Player of the Year. Announced today, Faison Brandon does it all. He can run, he can pass, a true leader on the field. He's going to have to be the guy tonight if the Whirlies want to come out of here with a victory and head on to play the winner of East Forsyth and Weddington.
The Gatorade Player of the Year, first quarterback in 2 seasons to win that award. Jaden Davis, who's now at Michigan, the previous winner. And the lights and the circumstance here at Jamison Stadium. 3rd year they've met in this park. Had an overtime matchup 2 years ago, a 1-score game last season. This has been the bugaboo for Huff, a program 12-1, just a decade into football, 11 straight winning seasons under coach Sean Baker, who was a Hall of Famer at South Carolina State. He takes on Darryl Brown, who's won 62 of his last 65 games. These are 2 heavy-hitting 4A programs. And the winner will go to the West Finals against either East Forsyth or Weddington. Opening kick for the Huskies underway. And this 4A rivalry renews tonight as Grimsley brings it out from the 5. Special teams, a big part of the Whirlies. 4 special teams touchdowns this year. And here comes Faison Brandon with first possession. This is the Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. Mitchell Summers, an elite tailback, 41 touchdowns, #1 in the state. And DJ Howerton, a nice option at tight end.
They sure is. And Howerton's really come on here in the later stages of the season, giving this passing attack something else to look at. Caden Cateau, your main threat receiving the football, #1 out wide.
Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. Original fried chicken that's not greasy. 91 touchdowns for Grimsley this year. On the first carry, Mitchell Summers breaks the tackle. And he'll get 5 yards on the opening carry. The Mountain Fried Chicken defense, 5 Division I signees, including Ladarian Minner, the ODU defensive lineman.
See how big he is, strong in the middle of that defensive front. 42 right there on your screen. Big, strong front 7 as well for Huff. They're going to pose a challenge to this Grimsley offensive line here tonight.
And Cameron Sear has 20 tackles for loss. Big defensive line presence. Here's 2nd down, Brandon outside, and a nice bobbling catch. Turned nothing into something there, a gain of 1, so it was 3rd and short with Summers.
Got to keep it out there. The one-on-one matchup, you got the block out in front of you. That swing pass gets out there. Summers usually so good once he gets to the open field, but just kind of seemed like a hit off of his face mask. Still able to corral that one, brings up 3rd down.
Faison Brandon this year over 76% passing, one of the more efficient players in the state. He was named the Gatorade State Player of the Year this week. Now facing 3rd and long. Good blitz. Brandon steps up. Faison runs away and incomplete. Good pressure from his defensive line. Edward Conover, the outside linebacker there.
Really nice play on the outside. They have the receivers stacked on each side of an offensive formation. That defense doesn't bite on some of that action down the field. Faison Brandon just has to get out of the pocket. This is what Huff does. Their discipline on the back end allows that front 7 to play more freely. They are able to get that pressure and force Faison Brandon to just throw the ball away.
Here comes the punting unit for Grimsley. A rare punt for Chase Homental, and a bad snap. Chase is pressured and gets rid of it. And actually gets a 30-yard punt out of what was a dangerous ball to the 48. And now first possession for Huff on the special teams mistake.
So that's what you want to do. Your defense steps up. They make a good stop on the first drive of the game. Mishap, get the punt away, but Huff, dangerous Huskies offense, starts in plus territory. You cannot ask for a better sequence of events to happen if you're this coaching staff. And right now, knowing where you are, you've got to put points on the board.
The Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. Trey Blankety, 46 touchdowns this year passing. Sean Brady, Tyran Evans, 2 Division I receivers at the next level. They're playing some great ball this year.
Yeah, Gardner Webb's going to get Brady and Tyran Evans. Take your pick of the Southeast. He's got his pick of the litter and offers.
Starting at the 48, here's the tailback, Jason Enciso with a nice hold. And he gets over 6 yards on first down. This running game will average close to 200 yards on the ground. Good start early on.
This sure is, and Enciso is so big in the backfield as well. Powerful back, has good speed, but a good feel for where he's supposed to go with the football. Great job as well by that offensive line. A good size as well up front for those 5 guys.
This defensive line for Grimsley anchored by Andre Hill, the 6'1", 300-pounder in the middle of this defense. Filling some big shoes, Jamal Jarrett, who played at Georgia a year ago, 4-star, formerly on this D-line. Second down handoff, Enciso breaks the tackle. Enciso gets space and dragged down at the 30 after a gain of 12. And how important is this running game tonight for Huff?
Well, Evan, it's 29 degrees outside. And you know the old cliches, they always come back this time of year when you talk about teams that are successful. It's about playing defense and running the football. It's going to be huge. And Enciso is a guy that can really capitalize on those holes, hit them, take advantage because he's got a big frame, but really good straight line speed as well.
We do have an injury after the Crescent Ford first down. Crescent Ford right of the game in style with the new F-150. And that's Sean Kennedy, the 6'3", 320-pounder right tackle. He's a junior, second-year starter. That's a big presence as he gets back up with the athletic training staff.
Well, big is probably the right word for him, right, Evan? I mean, this is a guy at 315, again, the 6'3", is right around that average size on this offensive line. You look across, and in the high school ranks, you got 5 guys that are topped out at 6'4", bottom at 6'1". So you've got a physical offensive line up front. Very athletic group as well. They can move bodies around, get these lanes open for these running backs, and allow them to take advantage before they even get touched.
Here's the Grimsley Mountain Fried Chicken starting lineup. Really impressive with Andre Hill and his size, but then in the linebacking position, Drew Searle, 75 tackles. He's an all-state caliber player.
Sure is, heart and soul of the defense. Need him to be absolutely spectacular tonight. Searles is going to be the guy that stirs the drink, and you want to keep your eye on as well. Number 12, of course, Bryce Davis, the Duke commit.
So now a timeout. Jarvis Potts had to move to right tackle with the injury, and Coach Sean Baker wanted to re-enter his injured tackle, Sean Kennedy. So we're going to take the timeout. Early in this first quarter, Huff driving the football. We got plenty more from this 4A regional semifinal when we return. Our YouTube and Facebook page. So thanks for watching, because it's really cold out here, and if you're at home, you're having a great time too. Novant Health, best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. What a start for this Huff offense. Trey Blankeny heading to Austin P at the FCS level. The running back, Jason Enciso, still uncommitted, but has Columbia and Yale talking. Really smart student athlete. But we have a whistle here. That's a false start. One area for Huff troublesome for Sean Baker coming in, the penalties have added up in the playoff run.
Already alluded to it a little bit. Last week, they dominated Mallard Creek in the first half. They went halftime with a 13-0 lead. Now, that's not to say that Mallard Creek isn't a good football team, because they are. But they were in so many positions last week in the first half where they could have capitalized on turnovers, miscues by the Mavericks. And they weren't able to because they had those miscues up front, whether it's the pre-snap penalties, holds, whatever it may be. Just a lot going on.
And because of the injury to Sean Kennedy, even with the timeout, he's not allowed to re-enter at the high school level. It's different at the college level. That's what Sean Baker was asking. So the new right tackle, Jarvis Potts, comes in. They're on 1st and 15. Sean Brady in motion. Here's Enciso, nice hole. Better cut, and Enciso gets the penalty yardage back, gain of 4. Before the Duke commit, Bryce Davis, the defensive tackle, makes the stop.
See how Enciso gets on the edge, right? Sees the corner coming downhill, sets him up like he's going outside, and then cuts right back inside of him. Good smart running there by Enciso to get that penalty yardage back. Give him a chance here on 2nd down now.
Enciso, 7 yards a carry coming in. Over 1,200 yards in his career. An excellent running back, and Jamison Funderburg complements the 6', 220 other tailback. Now 2nd and 10. Blankeny with time. Blankeny takes a shot and finds a man. A Sean Wynn the catch, and he's to the 16.
Wow, that's a long, I mean, long throw up and over the top, and I think they're ruling it incomplete. They sure are. That is a long throw back to the opposite side of the field. Over corner, that is a beautiful pass. Just can't get that foot down before he goes out of bounds as Wynn.
Great catch, incomplete, yeah.
That's a great throw across the field. Shad Wynn just cannot get that foot down before he steps out of bounds.
This receiving core, over 40 receiving touchdowns, top 5 in the state. And now the tight end, Jameer Anderson, sprinting in motion on 3rd down. Blankeny pressured. Trey escapes, heaves deep, no, it's dropped. Through the hands of E.J. Davis. That was a turnover on a platter.
Tyron Evans is down there, and he's trying to take a shot for his long receiver at 6'3", but too far past him into the end zone, and this is tracked down. This is a present, wrapped up, ready to go. He cannot get it.
And on 4th and 10 from this distance, deciding to kick or go for it. Candler Happy is the field goal kicker.
Hey.
And he's got a strong leg. This is from 48 yards. Low snap, not even close. And that was on the special teams, a missed field goal. Grimsley gets the stop.
Already talked about how Grimsley loves their special teams units. How they have to be great in order to come out of here with a win tonight. And that right there, capitalize on your opponent's misfortunes, their inability to execute at that point. That's got to be snap. Snap was a little low, hold wasn't there. That's a knuckleball on a cold night.
Keep in mind, Keandre Mars, the center, is also the long snapper. That's 2 different types of deliveries for the special teams. As we talk so much about Justin Tucker at the NFL level with the Ravens, it's all about the process, not just the kicker in these moments.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's so much that goes into kicking the football. It's not just the kicker all the time, right? Of course, they can miss kicks, but...
And you say that as a Steelers fan, where Chris Boswell's maybe the best kicker in the league.
Automatic this year, right? But it goes into the snap, it goes down to the hold, and of course the kick. Those 3 things have to be in unison.
Here's Mitchell Summers on 1st down. Nice hole. And the running game of Grimsley gets going. What a powerful run, a little bit of pushing and shoving after the play for Summers, who has 6,000 career rushing yards as a 4-year starter.
Absolutely unreal. Running back who is as small as they come, but as tough and as natural a runner as you will see at the high school level. Even there, again, all 5'8", and that might be generous. A great running back that the Whirlies are so happy to have.
Shoved out by 4-star DB Samari Matthews. He's a junior, one of the best players in the state. 2nd and short. That is right at the sticks. It might be enough for a 1st down. They'll give it to him. Mitchell Summers, who last year in this matchup, he was electric on the ground, and that's what Grimsley needs tonight. 187 yards last year. How do they feed him more tonight?
Well, it's about getting him out in space and allowing him to make those reads and make those cuts. He can run between the tackles, but if you can get him on the edge, that's where he becomes dangerous at the 2nd level.
Well, Summers motions out on 1st down. Brandon goes deep, wants Summers, and good coverage down the sideline. That's Edward Conover, who's already pressured the quarterback and deflects the ball away.
Step for step, stride for stride, your outside linebacker is running down the field in a straight line with Mitchell Summers. Not an easy task, but someone's got to do it. Conover has that inside position, makes a tough throw for Brandon down the field.
Faison Brandon, top 25 in the state in passing and total yards, but he's Mr. Efficient. When things are in system, when he's completing balls, really tough to stop. Now 2nd and 10. Here's a quarterback run. Brandon gets a block, and Brandon near the sticks himself. That's a gain of 8. Sets up 3rd and short.
This is where Grimsley is so good. Even if they don't get those shot plays that you want on 1st down or even 2nd down, they can make up for it in a hurry. And it does not take very much for them to do it. All these weapons, and starts with quarterback Faison Brandon, just an electric athlete back there. Very good feel for the game of football as well.
Brandon averages 9 yards a carry as well. He has 8 rushing touchdowns. The Gatorade Player of the Year here in North Carolina. Officially 3rd and 3. Brandon feeds Summers. Mitchell dives at the sticks. That's going to be close. Decision time. Here, do you go for this on 4th down if you're Grimsley?
I think you do. I think it sets the tone early on. This is a game, with it being as cold as it is, you want to be able to take that mental mindset of the game over at an early point. And if you can convert here, it goes a long way to sending a message early on about who the more physical team is.
Coordinator Jesse Tripp, who's run this offense for 5 years, going for it. 4th and short. And now head coach Darryl Brown walking towards the official. Here's 4th down. Summers goes for it, breaks a tackle, and Summers near midfield. What a dominant run on 4th down.
Right there. Took a page out of the Detroit Lions book last night. Running off the right side of that offensive line. Get behind your back and let him go to work. A couple pulling linemen. That's about as easy as it gets. Great job executing at the point of attack by the Grimsley Whirlies.
Mitchell Summers, who's top 10 in rushing, 2nd in scoring in the state. What an elusive tailback. The fact he hasn't signed with a college yet, that made a lot of coaches at Grimsley wonder.
Yeah.
As Summers totes the rock. He's spun down that time for a loss. And for more on Mitchell Summers, here's Hannah Brady.
Well, guys, Mitchell Summers is one of the best running backs in the state of North Carolina, according to Coach Brown. He's been a 3-year starter for the Whirlies, and last month reached a career of 100 touchdowns. His ability to be a physical runner is what allows him to be so successful. Coach Brown told me that he understands what kind of game this was going to be. It was going to be tough sledding, so he hasn't gotten upset or panicked since he hasn't cracked a big run early on, but just remained posed and composed to find ways to break the run for this offense, guys.
Thanks, Hannah. As Summers gets the ball here and gets back the lost yardage on 1st down. So it's 2nd, now 3rd and long coming up. These defensive ends, Cameron Sear, Will Berlin, impressive setting the line for Grimsley.
They have the size and the stature, right? So they want to be able to set the edge, work these runs back into the middle, and allow these linebackers like Conover, like an Aiden Bell, like a Carmel Quick, to get in there, find the running back, and not allow him to get outside. Setting the edge, so important against an offense like Grimsley and a running back like Mitchell Summers.
Here's 3rd and 10. Brandon with time. Brandon scrambles. Brandon running for his life. Breaks another tackle, and a pass deflected. Good pursuit by this defense, and it's 4th down. That was Elijah Barber on the pressure.
It is no secret, Evan, that Huff is aggressive. Defensively, they are going to bring pressure. And that's exactly what they did on 3rd down. If you want to get Faison Brandon off his mark, you've got to bring extra bodies and get home. They don't get the sack, but they cause him to continue to drift backwards, throws him off his spot, and forces an incomplete pass again on 3rd down.
Chachi Sullivan, the D coordinator, who played with the head coach in Sean Baker at SC State. Here's the punting unit, 2nd punt for Homental. That goes all the way to the 15. Good juke to break loose for Brady. And Sean tiptoes right near the 15. We'll take the timeout. Couple of punts early on. When we come back, Huff with the football on My 48. Welcome back to Greensboro. Here's what's at stake. The top seeds, Cleveland and Grimsley, battling tonight. East versus West, all the way to a state final at either UNC or NC State. And Mark, the winner of this matchup has a dynamic Weddington East for side. We wanted the 4 best teams left. We may have them on this west side of the bracket.
Yeah, we honestly might. I mean, it has been electrifying. We always kind of thought you were going to find East, or you were going to find Weddington, you were going to find Grimsley, you were going to find Huff at this level. But who's going to be that team? It always kind of seemed like East had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They find themselves in a matchup after beating Mooresville last week at home.
So Huff starts with a football. Jason and Ciso gets a nice gain, 7 yards on first down. A Huff team that's been knocking on the door 4th round, 3 of the last 4 years, but has not made a final yet, a region final. What an opportunity for this Huff program.
Well, against the team that you've now met the last 2 postseasons as well. So it's not the unfamiliarity that you have a lot of these postseason matchups. These 2 teams know each other. They know each other in this environment as well. So what an opportunity to come into their house and take away an opportunity to go to that West Final against either East or Weddington.
There's 2nd and 4. Blankety keeps. Blankety gets enough for the first and then shoved out after a gain of 6. Huff's last trip to a region final, 2021. They faced a Grimsley team who the year later made the state final. These are 2 programs they've either been in a region or in the state final 3 of the last 4 years.
And that's what makes them so successful. Huff hasn't been around that. You gotta think, only since 2010. So this program, young by the constructs, but you and I are so used to seeing a program like Oak Grove, who has been around for a much shorter amount of time, and yet they've only had 1 losing season. That was year 1.
Oak Grove at the 3A level.
So you have these programs that are able to find success early on, and that cultivates a culture. It's exactly what Huff has found.
First down. Play action through the hands of Sean Brady. And an early drop for the Gardner-Webb signee, who's 4th in the 4A in receptions.
Just a little behind him. Just a little behind him. RPO, read that one. Blankley does a great job reading the defense, sees where they are. Linebacker comes down, and you make that throw over the top because it's wide open. A little bit more out in front. Not only does Sean Brady have a clean catch that time, he might still be running.
Sean Brady at his debut this year, 6 receptions, 200+ yards against Northwestern. That's at Rock Hill. Lone loss for Huff. Now 2nd and 10. Time over the middle and a good connection. Tyron Evans sprinting away. And he gets near the 30. That's ruled down after a gain of 30.
Solid catch by Evans. The big target over the middle that time. Again, the amount of offers this guy has now as a junior from almost the entire southeastern part of the United States. You see why there. The speed over the middle, make that catch, and then the giddy up on the back end as well.
Quick toss route to Brady. Breaks another tackle. And this receiving tandem, Sean Brady, Tyron Evans, not only might be the best in the state, but it's Division I ready players that can make plays in open space.
Right. Like they're going either next year or the year after, depending on which one you're talking about, and they're contributing. Don't be surprised. Sean Brady go to Gardner-Webb out there in Boiling Springs. Makes an early impact for a team rebuilding there.
Think about this Grimsley program. Terrell Anderson at NC State. Both these teams have had elite talent at the wide receiver spot. As Ciso goes up the middle for 3 more yards. To win a state title, you need elite receivers, and both these teams have them.
Yeah, they certainly do. But Huff has that tandem, right, between Evans and Brady that really makes them special. It gives them a whole lot of mismatches out on the outside. It almost doesn't even matter who they're going against.
We have a timeout here for Grimsley's defense. Grimsley defense led by Joe Rigsby, who recruited and coached Travis Shaw, a 4-star recruit, led a state championship team in 2021. And there's this Huff program led by Sean Baker. And he noted a sense of not just revenge, but playing their best prideful game of football today. It's in a good physical start from Huff.
Well, you had to be physical here tonight. That is the name of the game here tonight. In the 20s, the game time temperature. You talk about the acclimation process. Obviously, it's not that cold most weeks, most days down here in North Carolina, no matter what time of the year it is. The only thing is, here the last 2 weeks leading up to now, those Fridays have been cold. So these players have had an opportunity on both sides here between Grimsley and Huff, all around the state, to get acclimated with this colder weather. Probably doesn't shock them as much as it did 2 weeks ago, but still, you get into this cold weather, you got to do two things really well. You got to run the football, you got to play defense well. Right now, we've got a stalemate on the scoreboard because of it.
John Baker was a Hall of Famer at South Carolina State as a running back, operates this offense. There's Trey Blankety on 3rd and short. Blankety pulling guards, gets room, and is hit hard at the sticks. Good tackle by E.J. Davis, and that's a first down.
I just think, talk about Trey Blankety, how underrated he is as an athlete and getting out of space. He has the rushing yards, it's not a ton, but he does what he needs to do, and he gets the necessary yardage in order to move the chains, get a touchdown, whatever it may be. Just a savvy athlete, and certainly athletic enough that you can put him out in space and allow him to go make a play for you like they just did.
Entering the crescent forward, first down, nearing the red zone as well. Blankety sends Tyron Evans in motion. And Ciso, oh, it's a quarterback keeper. Nice hole, Blankety. Cuts it back. He's to the 6. And a strong run from the mobile quarterback, Mark.
Another strong run. Again, the underrated aspect of him athletically. Gets out on the edge, pulls it. The defense commits down to Enciso. Able to get up over the top, fools the entire defense and gets out.
Blankety finds Funderburg, powering through. Touchdown, Huff. Powerful run caps off the 70-yard drive.
That is a drive. In this environment where you've got to be on your P's and Q's, those woes we saw early on last week against Mallard Creek, out the door, forgetting about them. They were left in Cornelius at campus for Huff. What a drive. Physicality, running the football down the throat of the Whirlies defense.
Extra point from Candler Happy, who missed the field goal earlier. That time, no problem. Oh, he missed it. He did push that right. And a really special teams gaff here for Huff. Keeps this 6-0.
But what a drive. I mean, what a drive. Again, cold weather, run the football. You want to win, you have to be great at it. And at the point of attack, Grimsley's right there, but Funderburg finds enough of a crease on the left side of that line to get up and through. Gets into the end zone, draws first blood.
What a great drive to punch that one in. Just over 75 yards. And the running game of Huff moved the chains a couple of times there.
Now you're going to see the sense of urgency from Grimsley. See where they're at from a standpoint of now you're down by 6. You are coming back out after 2 near 3 and outs, really, for an offense that is so dynamic and so used to moving the football down the field. How do you now respond after getting punched in the mouth realistically? That's the difference in these playoff games, especially at this point in the postseason. How do you respond when you have that adversity come right at you?
3rd straight year, Huff has scored first in this series. 2 years ago, overtime win for Grimsley. Last year, a 1-score, 42-35. Points are expected tonight here at Jamison Stadium. This is the regional semifinals on the west side of 4A football. And a kickoff there from Happy into the end zone. So where's the response for Faison Brandon and this Grimsley offense? Haven't gotten the ball past midfield today.
Well, you can tell that Huff is making a conscious effort as best they can to slow down Mitchell Summers. You're trying to take the game and, interestingly enough, put it almost in the hands of Faison Brandon, seeing if he can manage this cold weather, seeing if the Tennessee commit can find a way to manage and get these receivers out in space and allow them to go to work. Again, you've got to act with conviction if you are Huff defensively. There's so many weapons, you can't cover everything, but you've got to at least take something away.
Here's Mitchell Summers on the ground. Nice hole! Mitchell Summers breaks away. Summers, 80-yard score. Arguably the best running back in the state with his 42nd touchdown.
So much for taking them away, right? You have to take something away. That time they elect to see if those receivers get into the action. A crease opens up on the right side of that line, and that is all number 22 needs. That straight line speed is killer. In the open field, you're not going to catch Mitchell Summers. What a response by the Whirlies on offense.
112 career touchdowns for Summers, who's now scored 8 times when these teams have met the last 3 years. What a response. 80-yard score. Here's the extra point from Jackson Henry. Time Henry knocks it through, and after the Huff miss, Grimsley has the 1-point lead.
Hard drive, 70 yards down the field. Your defense is getting beat up the whole way down. What do? You just go right back out on the field, and what we've seen so many times from Grimsley this year, just one cut up the field, blocking out on the edge was perfect. And from there, you're Mitchell Summers. You can see that blue end zone straight ahead, and you are not going to get caught.
Mitchell Summers putting the ball in his hands to put this ball away. Tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. We understand the happiness of your loved ones is important to their wellness. Talking with Darryl Brown this week, he noted the explosive plays of Summers. Haven't had as many of those this season as compared to his junior year, but when he gets the ball in space, that's a tough running back to catch.
But he's been so steady this year. And that's the part that has really made it more impressive, is the fact that maybe you don't have that explosion that you had last year. But defenses have film. Defenses are then trying to adjust. They're trying to stop him regardless of Faison Brandon being a quarterback, because you know the kind of weapon that Mitchell Summers is. And to a degree, they have done that. But you're still talking about a player who is all Mr. Everything as a running back. Saw them already try to hit him on a deep pass down the sideline earlier in this game, so he's not just a running back, but he can catch the ball as well. So many different uses for number 22 in the backfield. It's impressive.
Darryl Brown, who's actually coaching the East-West Shrine Bowl a year ago, that's played at this stadium, at Jamison Stadium. He's won a Coach of the Year in the state previously in his tenure, but said this may be our most cohesive team, and we'll see how that plays out in this 4th round playoff matchup. There's Henry to send it away. Brady from the 10. Brady has a block, jukes a man, and a nice tackle in open space. So Josiah Hussey on the stop, and here comes another explosive Huff offense to work.
I don't know if explosive was the word for that last drive, just steady. Found some plays in the passing game, sure, but it was running the football, moving it down the field meticulously.
Huff as an offense, 370 yards a game, but they've done a nice job controlling clock too. Won the time of possession in every game this year. So far, they're plus 3 minutes. Now Trey Blankety back to work. The Austin Peay commit at quarterback. Throws over the middle, and it's just past Tyran Evans, who was ready for the end zone.
Evans is thinking up over the top. He's getting vertical. If he goes flatter with this route like he's supposed to, which is exactly what Blakeney was thinking, you're getting it underneath out in space. Just 2 players on 2 different pages there.
Sets up 2nd and 10. And some movement here for Bryce Davis, the Duke signee on the defensive line. Highest rated recruit on the defensive side in Grimsley history. He just signed with Duke earlier this week on National Signing Day.
Pretty impressive as well. You start thinking about the names that have come through here defensively. Jamal Jarrett, you already alluded to at Georgia now. There's been a couple of defensive studs.
There's 2nd and 5, and Ciso the toss. Gets the first down. He'll gain 7, and a Crescent Ford first down.
I tell you, I look at Ciso, and all I can see is James Conner. The way he runs, there's a certain aggression with the way he's attacking this defense right now, getting out in front, and he's running with a full head of steam. It is all gas, no brakes.
And Ciso will play in the Senior Bowl in Charlotte coming up in late December. Gets the rock here and cuts forward for 4 yards. One thing about this Huff team, always falling forward, no negative yardage. They're such a tough team to stop in these physical battles.
Because they don't take those negative plays. If it's not the mental mistakes where you have those procedure penalties, whether it's a false start, illegal formation, whatever it is, Huff's not going to do much to hurt themselves outside of that. So you've got to meet them at the point of attack around the line of scrimmage and try to get these ball carriers to the ground, whether it's Blakeney and Ciso, whoever it may be. It is a tall task for any defense.
Now Second and 7. Quarterback keeps. Bryce Davis pursues and a couple-yard gain. Good escape from Trey Blankety, who does average 5 yards on the ground.
I'll be honest. Bryce Davis hit him, and he gained another couple yards after that. You start thinking, those guys fall to the ground. Bryce Davis gets his hands on you, you're going nowhere. But Blankety, give him credit, continues to churn out those yards down the field.
Trey Blankety is a runner, only 56 attempts, but talking to Sean Baker, he loves his dual threat options here. And we'll see more of him in the second quarter after this timeout. What a start to this 4A fourth-round matchup. Huff strikes first. Grimsley responds. Plenty more football on My 48 when we return to Greensboro. Stadium here in Greensboro. Matchup with two of the top 5 teams in the state. Huff and Grimsley. Huff with the football after an opening score. Sets up 3rd and 6. Blankety goes short. What a snag. Brady the first down reception. And the Gardner-Webb commit goes into Grimsley territory.
Nice little throw to the outside. Good play design as well. Get the receivers to push up the field. Has the defensive backs have to go back with them, create some space underneath. It's good play design. Nice execution. Good pitch and catch. Blankety to Brady.
Brady with his 53rd catch of the year. That's top 10 in the state. Now Brady in motion gets the football. Brady is rocked in the backfield. Great pursuit from Ryan Debo. And looking for a late flag possibly after a hard physical tackle.
Yeah, and it was a little bit extracurricular, but playoff games like this, you're going to have that take place, right? Not anything going on, just hard playing down there. You play the mental game a little bit, a little more chippiness this time of year, and certainly between two programs that have seen each other quite often.
And as Ice Cube knows, when Debo is rolling down the street, you got to be careful.
Exactly.
Go back to the 90s and research that movie. Friday, fantastic. That's the physicality, though, this D coordinator wants. Joe Rigsby, an aggressive team, over 100 tackles for loss this year. And Debo, the anchor in that.
I'd love to know how much of our audience actually has to go back and reference that because they don't know what Friday is.
We'll find out after the 2nd and long. Blankety slides up. More pressure and throws it away. Now, Blankety's been running for his life. How about the defensive line here of Grimsley making pressure?
Well, that's what they haven't really done through the first quarter. Now in the second quarter, starting to get things rolling. A loss on first down, a massive loss on first down, and then you place Blankety off of his spot. So he has to slide up. There's no one down the field that's open. That's what you want to do. Both quarterbacks, the game plan's the same. You've got to force them off their spot. If you give them time to sit back there, survey the field, they're going to find someone and they're going to do damage.
Trey Blankety filling some huge shoes of Tad Hudson, the UNC signee from 2 years ago. And there's Blankety with 40 touchdowns this year, sets up third down. Blankety with time, goes short and just short of his sticks. Needed 15, he gets 5. A shot win, and now 4th and 10. What do you do here from the 40?
Do you feel like you're in no man's land? No.
Here comes the punting unit.
Play the field position game. I think it's a pretty smart decision by Coach Baker and his staff.
Really good pursuit lanes as well.
Yeah.
We see at the high school level, mobile quarterbacks can break down a defense.
See him able to slide to the left, buys himself just enough time. Doesn't pick up the first down. Just get a couple extra yards and give your punt team something more to work with.
Grimsley wants a timeout. They don't have enough men on the field. So head coach running down Darryl Brown.
Oh, wow.
Darryl was subbing in a final player. There's the head coach at the last second. And it looks like Elijah Ingram was supposed to go on the field, but he didn't get the message.
Well, he's got it now.
It wasn't an email.
Yeah, I can promise he's got it.
It wasn't a BlackBerry update. That's called face-to-face.
And I'll tell you what, Evan, all the head coaches we talked to throughout the year, there are few guys that are more intense about the game of football, in a good way, a very intimate way, than Darryl Brown, right? Tactician kind of guy, loves getting out there, but wants his players to do everything as they're supposed to be doing it. Not a lot of improv, but to their credit, man, they run an offense here, they run a defense here, they run a special teams unit here.
That has won 90% of their games the last 10 years.
They are as crisp as any team in the state year in and year out. And you can't have squads like that unless you've got great men leading it. That's where Darryl Brown comes into the picture.
Won the 2021 state title, lost the 22 championship, but later ruled ineligible with New Bern having academic issues. But here in 2024, 2 of the top 5 teams in the state battling tonight. And here's Candler happy to punt. Good kick inside the 10, and that's fair caught. Happy days for the special team stud. We'll take the timeout early in the second quarter. 1-point game with a trip to the region final when we return. Coming up, stay tuned for the U.S. Army halftime report. We'll interview the coaches, principals, and more. U.S. Army, be all that you can be. Hannah will be bundled up in her toboggan, asking some tough questions at halftime. Just like the bands here. Huff and Grimsley, both bands traveling and battling the elements tonight. Temperatures in the low 20s.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep your prayers up for Hannah Brady. The best of us down there on the side.
Our sideline reporter toughing it out. Here's Grimsley back to work with Mitchell Summers, and he goes nowhere. Nice pursuit from this defensive line. After giving up the 80-yard touchdown, it's a good stop for Edward Conover, the DN.
I saw Conover flash one time, one-on-one down the field with Summers. This time, scrapes over the top through that defense. Great pursuit, good angle as well. Brings down Summers.
Conover had 5 tackles for loss last week in a shutout of Mallard Creek. Only 3 points allowed all playoffs from Huff's defense.
Very, very sound defense. Know what they can do, but they play great at all 3 levels and allows them to play off of each other, that front 7 communicating with that secondary.
Here's 2nd and long. This time Summers gets a hole, and look at him break outside. Mitchell Summers gets the first, and an impressive run for 12 yards.
You know what has to be the most maddening thing for a defense? It's knowing that you've done your job, and if you have a crease that's about 2 inches wide, Mitchell Summers finds it, and he busts through for a big gain. It's got to be absolutely mind-boggling. See here, just gets through there, good hole. Anticipates it well. Good job by that offensive line opening it up for him.
Mitchell Summers averaging 10 yards a night. His ability to elusively sneak through holes, that's what Darren Sproles did for a decade in the NFL. You can't stop him.
It's sneaking through, but he does it so well.
Here's a play-action toss. First catch, Patrick Carter. Carter breaks a tackle. Carter gets blocks. Down the sideline. Carter cuts back into the red zone and breaks it open for 50.
Little inside-out action for you there on the screen. Carter comes inside, makes that catch, follows his blockers and gets back outside and down the sideline. It's a foot race. See right here, boom, gets outside, makes one man miss, and then he's down the field for another large gain for this Grimsley offense. Those first 2 drives are in the rearview mirror.
Now Summers on the ground. Gets a couple after the 71-yard gain for Carter. Patrick only had at 200 yards receiving coming in. What an explosive play on second down.
That's what you need. There are guys on this offense. We haven't even seen Caden Cateau yet. Caden Battle, another guy, but Carter is another guy that has to step up. Only 15 catches on the year. You want to beat a team like this in Huff that has such a sound defense, other guys have to contribute.
There's second down. Quarterback keeps. Brandon hits a hard defensive line. And again, Edward Conover in there on the stop. Now third down.
A solid play up front again by Huff. They're just so big, so athletic along that front.
A defensive line with 3 players playing at the next level, already signed or committed.
So stout. They've got the size. Sometimes you start thinking some of these high school teams have the size. Well, can they really play? But Huff can play. Athletic, big, strong defensive front. That front 4, very strong and powerful. Love the rec hat.
Here's 3rd and 8. Brandon pumps. Brandon end zone. Tight end touchdown. DJ Howerton, his 4th score of the year, and Grimsley strikes back.
I welcome you to the newest other guy. Howerton has caught fire here in the later parts of the season. He has been stunning from that tight end spot. When you get a great tight end matchup in high school, it pays huge dividends. They have found it. What a pass over the middle, good recognition, nice and easy for Overton to get in there and get the touchdown.
It felt like a psychedelic concert seeing all those light shows going back and forth. A good atmosphere here at Jamison Stadium, and now the extra point coming. I was going to ask you, do you go for 2 in this spot up 7? Do you play the math game here?
No, you gotta take the points where you can get them in a matchup like this.
Here's Jackson Henry, the senior kicker, 4-year starter, and Henry drills it. What a try, 4 plays, and it goes 90 yards for the score. And that's the explosive offense that makes Grimsley dangerous here.
Just getting down the field in a hurry, and it's those plays that ignite a run to a championship. DJ Overton cashes in, and Huff now facing some challenges here in the second quarter.
Tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we'll do our best to make your loved ones feel like they're being taken care of. Not just the hand warmers that our production staff provided us tonight. These are fantastic. The Caring Hands at Grimsley, back-to-back scoring drives.
Yeah, we're sitting up in a booth right now. Everyone else out there, again, as we already mentioned, Hannah Brady and the rest of our crew braving the elements. We got California Boy up here. Picked up some hand warmers.
Better safe than sorry. But the 19-yard score for DJ Howerton, his 4th touchdown of the year. The special teams unit, that's been the difference. Missed field goal and a missed extra point for Huff as Hullmental kicks it away. Brady from his 5, he's been electric. Brady breaks a tackle to the 25, and that's where Huff will start at the 26. Thanks for joining us tonight, not only on social media and our Novant Health live stream, but on My 48 here in the Triad. Great high school football. It's a 4A regional semifinal with Mark Covert and Hannah Brady freezing in her toboggan field side. I'm EvanBudrovich. So you can find Hannah because it's a white toboggan on her head, so it sticks out like a sore thumb.
She helped us out tonight.
She did take our picture pregame. My hands were too cold. Temperatures in the mid-20s. Here's Trey Blankety going to work. Quick toss. Brady the nice catch. And he nearly gets the first down in one-on-one coverage.
They've run that hang route a couple times now. They're reading the defense, seeing if that linebacker comes down. They are. Blakeny's getting that football out in a hurry. Finds the space wide open. That time, what a snare by Sean Brady over the top.
Sean Brady, 18 total touchdowns. That's 4th in the state among 4A teams. He's the most explosive receiver left in this playoff run. Now Brady in motion on 2nd and short. Funderburk treks forward right at the sticks, and he's tripped up by Andre Hill. They'll give him the first down. That's a Riddle tractor first down, making tall grass short.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be a chunk play. You get those 3 to 4 yard carries down the field, move the chains, continue to keep drives alive. That's where you want to be offensively. The name of the game right now is survive and advance, and as long as you're keeping those drives alive, you're doing your job.
Jamison Funderburk at 220. That's a college-sized running back.
Yeah.
Hard to stop at 7 yards a carry. Trey Blankety, 60% passing at the moment. Works under pressure. Blankety down the field. Brady over his shoulders and out of bounds.
Had the wrong receiver.
Good coverage there from Ryan Debo.
You actually saw Sean Brady point back to the middle of the field because Tyran Evans was wide open. You see him right there flashing off the screen at the last second as our camera zoomed out.
Do you read that as a quarterback when you see the safety coming over?
It's a predetermined read, so you're going, and again, there's times where you got to go to your guy. Sean Brady, make no mistake, is the guy receiving for this offense. But Tyran Evans, great athlete as well. He's streaking down the middle of the field. You've got to see that.
Now 2nd and 10 for Blankety. High snap. Funderburk fumbles. That's a loose ball. And Blankety jumps on top. That would have been a huge turnover.
How did he get that football back? He had already left the area to carry out his fake. The exchange is not clean. High snap brings it down, just slips out of Funderburk's hands there, and Bryce Davis has it in his grasp and cannot corral it. What a break for Huff.
Through the hands of the Duke signee and into the quarterback's hands of Austin P. With championship weekend in college football, this is regional semifinal weekend here in North Carolina. This is the west side of the bracket. Blankety on 3rd and long. Here's a blitz. Picked up, incomplete. Wanted Wynn, and good coverage by Debo has been everywhere tonight.
I don't know if Wynn just didn't see that football in time, but he just was not ready for that football. Sticks one hand out there, just cannot get it there.
So the special teams unit coming on for Huff. A rare 3-punt night for Candler Happy, who in the playoffs has punted just twice in the first 3 weeks. These are 2 clubs that have dominated their opponents through 3 rounds.
Knew it was going to be a dogfight tonight.
Happy booms it away. That'll take a bounce at the 30-yard line. And on our ABC 45 station this weekend, we noted college football. It amps up big time. Starting at noon Eastern, how about Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State? Huge run. Winner of that game in the Big 12 title goes to the college football playoff. Then the granddaddy of them all, Texas, Georgia, outside of the Rose Bowl, of course, at 4 o'clock Eastern. And then the nightcap, the surprise ACC final is Clemson in Georgia down to Charlotte. That's a must-win game for Clemson's playoff hopes.
I can promise you SMU and Arizona State weren't in very many polls to make their conference championship games. Great season, chaotic as always within the college ranks.
Can watch that on ABC 45 tomorrow. Good pursuit by this defensive line. And that was ruled down, so Brandon loses 2 on first down. Good tackle by Cameron Sear, the senior D lineman.
The mistake you can't make is allowing these runners for Grimsley to square their shoulders, get them upfield, and allow them a clear lane to rush through that time. Huff does a great job of extending that play to the sideline, so Faison Brandon just runs out of room and has to take the loss.
Outside of the 80-yard score, only averaging 3 yards a carry. Much tougher to move the football tonight. Give credit to Huff's defense. There's Brandon on 2nd and 11. Summers breaks away. Mitchell Summers does it again. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 explosive scores. That time 66 yards to the house.
That is now twice. Huff has doubled down. They've had no one home on the backside of that play. Everyone is shaded to where the receivers are, and there is no help. Once Mitchell Summers gets past that first level, there is no safety valve there to prevent an explosive run from taking place. It is all or nothing, and that time again, Grimsley capitalizes.
45th touchdown of the year for Mitchell Summers, who continues to prove why he should be playing at the next level next year. Extra point from Jackson Henry, and that one's drilled. So here's Grimsley with a 2-score lead late in the second quarter. After that Oxner and Permar touchdown. Coming up, we have the U.S. Army halftime report, interviews with the coaches, principals, and much more here from Greensboro.
It's interesting, you said right before that play that if you take out the 80-yard run from Summers, they're averaging under 4 yards a play, right? For Grimsley right now, that's not what it's about. It's about the explosive plays. 2 long touchdown runs and then a long pass to get down deep into Huff territory on their last drive. So if they are going down the field, it's not going to be methodical right now. It's those explosive plays that, as we already said, they haven't shown up as much this year as they have in years previous, but tonight they are on full display. Summers cashing in from distance a second time.
170 first half yards for Mitchell Summers. And Hannah Brady with more.
Guys, with the Whirlies finding their offensive momentum, we asked Coach Brown what set this team apart from others, and he responded with, "It's how we play together is what makes us different." He said, "Everyone who is on this roster has earned the right to be here, but continuing to play together and how they respond to what Huff does throughout the rest of the night to set them off at their rhythm is how they will continue to be defined throughout this game, guys."
Darrell Brown's club showing a ton of resolve tonight, falling down a touchdown. But one thing we know about Huff, D coordinator Chachi Sullivan, that's a hard defense to score on. And Grimsley's been explosive with 2 scores.
They made that point. Through the first 3 rounds, you've got 3 points against this defense, all those opponents combined. So now Grimsley comes out here. They're firing on all cylinders offensively. Can Huff, who seemed like the aggressor to start this game, find a way to bounce back on this drive and put something on the board before the half?
Here's Brady for his 4th return of the night. Brady cuts it to this side of the field and not much there. He'll start at the 20. Where's the solution now for this Huff offense as we hit late in the second quarter?
You just talked about the big plays for Grimsley. Where are the big plays for Huff? They've missed a couple of shots down the field to their receivers and Evans and Brady. Really haven't been able to break through that offense or that defensive front, excuse me. And Ciso and that run, not able to get it going really to the point where they feel like they can be successful. Some of those splash plays have to hit because right now this defensive front is getting up to the line. They're causing havoc because they have nothing else to fear right now.
Trey Blankney in this offense. A couple of incompletions in Grimsley territory. So Enciso cuts through. Nice hole, Enciso. He'll get 20 yards. That's the type of running Huff has dominated with tonight.
Good solid run to start this drive too. And Enciso had a couple of long runs called back by penalty last week. Certainly a guy who's capable of busting one at any minute. See right there, just cuts back, good vision to find that hole back in the middle of the field. Pick up solid yards.
Enciso entered this game 7 yards and carries, doubled that tonight. Quarterback keeps, Blankney breaks one, and not much there, just a gain of 1. Good pursuit by Jaden Wardlow in this defensive line.
So now you have these short plays. What do you do here? Because again, that defensive front knows they're going to start firing off. Until you start getting something over their head down the field, they've got nothing to fear. Everything right now has been short passing game and lateral movement from Huff. Where do they start to get vertical and make plays?
You see both teams making adjustments before the play. Matchup with 2 of the top 5 in the state. Blankney on 2nd and 9. Faces pressure, gets away from it. Blankney runs loose, and that's a first down. How about the mobile ability of the dual threat quarterback?
Very, very good. And very underrated. We've already said it a couple times tonight. Blakeney has been a guy that has shown the ability to move when he needs to and get good yards. Good decision. Doesn't see anything, feels the pressure. Just get out with the football, get some yards, pick up the first down. It's a good feel.
Grimsley territory. Here's Enciso. Cuts off one. Enciso dogpiled by Andre Hillos. 300 pounds of Thanksgiving turkey after a gain of 5. That's a big dude when he jumps on top of you.
Sure is, but Enciso, another big dude in his own right. You see him saying, hey, we want to go. This offense has found a little bit of a rhythm finally after the last couple of drives, not getting what they want. They found something, and they want to get on the ball quick.
Blankney's pushed the tempo on this drive after Huff allowed 2 scores. Back to Enciso, jukes one, swerves another, and a late flag comes in after the stop from Drew Searles, the linebacker.
Couple of them. I mean, we're pretty late. Enciso was pretty far down the field and well into that play before a flag was thrown.
Waiting for the ruling from our officiating crew. Now an injured Grimsley player down. That's Ryan Debo. They'll take an official timeout to check on the injured Debo. Debo described as the heart and soul of this defense. He moved from Northwest Guilford, who also made the playoffs this year as a top 15 seed. Debo's made a huge impact as a senior as the safety position.
Guy who you can see line up in many different areas of a defense, attacks on all 3 levels.
Yeah, there's Debo at the end of the play. Oh.
I don't know if he's trying to cover up the football, but kind of seemed like he went down late. It was well after the play that he went down there and that training staff got out there. But a guy who very flexible within the defense, kind of a Swiss Army knife. You'll see him again around the line of scrimmage, linebacker depth, as well as playing a little further back. Certainly a guy that they do not want to see off the field for all the versatility that he brings.
Naomi Denton, the athletic trainer, and her staff helping Debo to his feet. You do wonder on a cold night as well, will those injuries start piling up late for both teams?
Everything hurts a little bit more on these cold nights. You get hit. And don't get me wrong, you got a couple guys down there in the field. They're going to act tough, big, strong. Rightfully so. You're in the playoffs, right? But I'm telling you, it hurts a little bit more when you take a good pop.
Taking out the trash hurts when it's cold. Yeah. Doing chores hurts when it's cold. But winning football games, that cure all.
There's something a little sweeter about it. That's why they always say football weather. It gets cold. This is what the sport was meant to be played in. When everyone else feels miserable, can you rise above it?
1:30 and counting on the clock. Here's 2nd and long. Nice throw. Incomplete and picked. A tipped interception. And Josiah Hussey turning the tables for Grimsley.
Decision was there, just a bad throw behind the receiver, and Evans forces that ball to be tipped up in the air by the great coverage on the back end, and Hussey, right place at the right time, plucks it out of the air and runs it back. Bryce Davis forces this football up, Blakeney fires it away, and the coverage is just too tight. The throw behind Evans cannot make a play on the football. Another outstanding defensive effort from this Whirlies defense.
Now a minute 20 for Grimsley to add to its lead. Here's Brandon from the 48. Summers keeps turning those legs, and Summers turns nothing into a short gain.
Now they got to get up. You still have that one timeout to work with, but you got to start moving the football a little bit if you want to give yourself a good chance here to get in the scoring position.
Tayson Brandon, one passing touchdown tonight.
Expect a deep shot from the Whirlies here. They're not going to be afraid.
Inside of a minute and a half, Brandon play action. Slides up. Brandon is taken down. Good pursuit by Aiden Bell, the middle linebacker.
Gets downhill in a hurry. This aggressive defense is going to get bodies back there, and they're going to get home at times. Right now, Brandon just goes down hard, has to step up, and the pressure runs right into it. Great design defensively by Huff.
Now with 20 seconds, Grimsley still has a timeout.
They're just going to let it run out. Look, smart play for Grimsley. Honestly, it seems like at this point.
Playing for the final play of the half. Here's Summers. This will be the final play. And that wraps up the first half. Remember, tonight's game is also being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page by Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. Big offensive second quarter for Grimsley, led by Mitchell Summers on the ground.
Just an explosive rushing attack. We know exactly what Mitchell Summers and Grimsley bring to the table. Huff seemed destined to stop him in the backfield on several different occasions, but a slow start eventually turns into an avalanche of points later in the first quarter, and now it's been 21 unanswered for the Whirlies going into the half.
What a start for Grimsley here at home, and for more, here's Hannah Brady.
Well, Coach, when Huff got on the board first, your offense answered. 2 explosive plays by Mitchell Summers. How do you like the way they responded?
No, I was really proud of our football team, and we've talked all week about staying composed, not panicking. We knew how hard this game's going to be, how tough it is. We got a lot of respect for those guys, and our football team answered the right way.
How do you continue to apply pressure on defense, especially after that tipped interception?
No, our defense has played really, really well. You're going to give up some things against these guys, but you know, we're trying to eliminate the big play like I told you earlier this week, and we've done that. We just got to continue to rally, and we got 2 more quarters that we got to play extremely hard.
Thank you, Coach. Best of luck.
Appreciate you.
Well, don't go anywhere. We have a whole lot more in store for you coming up on the U.S. Army Halftime Report. Stay with us.
Getting in position on the feet, directed by the Jeremy River. Rough Marshall Scrivener in the DDO Dawson. Going to play on what's your back from the Jackson spot. He's all down the road. Several nice flanks. Ladies and gentlemen, company by the Grimsley Whirlies. Here's the Grimsley Whirlies marching band.
Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. Be all that you can be in the United States Army. I'm Hannah Brady, now joined alongside Jed O'Donnell, the principal for Grimsley High School. Jed, you made it back to the playoffs, the 4th round. How proud are you of this team?
It's incredible. The teamwork, the ethics of always working your hardest, that blue-collar mentality is just representative of everything we are at Grimsley High School.
Now, in order to have a successful football program, you have to have a successful ringleader, and head coach Darryl Brown has just been phenomenal for this program. How has he helped instill belief not only in this program, but the students as well?
He's so important to our school. He's more than a coach. He's a mentor. He's a father figure. He's an amazing educator, and we are so blessed to have him here at Grimsley High School. His inspiration and his leadership goes throughout the entire school, and so he's a role model to all of us.
Now, it's also important to have a good school culture. How does having a successful program here at Grimsley trickle in to the culture here?
Well, Grimsley's very blessed. We've got a super strong sporting culture at Grimsley. Our academics are through the roof. We have an amazing arts program at Grimsley, and we've got the incredible support that we receive from all of our parents, our students, our teachers, and our families. And it's just incredible. The school culture is just something that you can reach out and touch. You feel it in every single classroom, in the hallway, in the classroom, on the court, and on the playing field.
I want to give you a moment here to say a special thank you to all of Worley Nation who has continued to show up and support you throughout the season.
You know, the support that we receive not only in Greensboro but across the county, across the state, from the mountains to the beach, and even going across the country, the emails, the text messages, the DMs that I receive on a daily basis is just amazing. And we just want to say that we hope we're doing you proud, and remember, as always, go Whirlies.
Well, that's amazing, especially the crowd support here tonight in the 20-degree weather. Well, Jed, thank you so much for spending a few moments on the U.S. Army Halftime Report with me.
Thank you for having us.
Well, stay with us. We have a whole lot more in store for you here on the U.S. Army Halftime Report. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. I'm Hannah Brady, now joined alongside the principal for Huff High School, David Farley. David, thank you so much for spending a few moments on that halftime report with me. Now, talk to me a little bit about the Huff football program. This game is incredible already, so just tell me a little bit more about it.
We've had a great season. I'm looking forward to a great second half. We get the ball at halftime, so we've got to put some points on the board to make it competitive here in the second half. But the football program year in and year out is great. The football players are phenomenal. Coach Baker is the best. And, year in and year out, we put out a great football program.
Now, not only do you have a successful football program, but you also have other successful athletic programs as well at Huff. Will you talk to me a little bit about what's been successful this year?
Yeah, our leader, Lori DeMarcus, our athletic director, she does an absolute phenomenal job with all of our student athletes. She's a huge supporter of gratitude, community, and just really does a great job supporting our coaches and our student athletes. But every sport, our women's volleyball, girls soccer, men's soccer, our basketball programs that are going right now, wrestling, baseball and girls softball, just all our student athletes, all the work that they put in, and they just really do a great job of supporting the community is what I'm most proud of.
Now, you've been the principal for 9 years.
This is my 4th year as principal, but I've been at Huff for 9 years.
For 9 years, so a pretty long time. You've been around the program. What do you love most about Huff High School?
There's a lot of things that I really love about Huff, but by far what I love most about Huff High School is the students. They're absolutely amazing, dedication in the classroom, great hearts. They come out and they support one another. It's a great school.
Well, they definitely came out in support tonight in the cold weather, but David, thank you so much for spending a few moments on the halftime report.
Have a good evening.
Earlier this week, we had the chance to catch up with our U.S. Army correspondent, Marcus Brown. Check out what he has to say.
My educational journey in the Army has been fantastic. So receiving my undergraduate degree as well as my master's. My MOS is similar to UPS. If it fits, it ships. I'm a logistician by trade. As a reservist, the Army will set you apart. You can learn skills and get certifications through the Army that you can use in your everyday occupation. So the healthcare perks are amazing. Absolutely no co-pays, so that's no money out of your pocket.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
He steps up, wants to go for it all up the right side and pulled down at the 20. Inside the 20 again is Katori Marion.
Our lifter guy, a lot of their offense and one block kick deserves another, right?
Still loose. Alamo Heights has it, but still not out of bounds. We can get a couple of points here. Another pitch, and they've got room. Miracle on the Mississippi.
You gotta be kidding.
It's Max Bacon.
Takes for himself now towards the left sideline, still on his feet, still up. He twirls in and throws over the goal line. Jared Curtis with his third touchdown of the night as Nashville Christian.
Steps it. Now just gonna heave it up, look into the far corner, tipped up in the air, caught by J.J. Bush. Touchdown, Bobcats and Theodore.
This young man coming out to the field right now is Jackson Maynard. He is suffering from Duchenne's syndrome. His family has established the Little Hercules Foundation, which is something that helps the young man and raises awareness for what he is battling all across the country. A lot of points will be scored during the season in games, but none bigger than that one right there. Touchdown, Jackson Maynard.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
So there are 3 main respiratory viruses that we worry about at this time of year: flu and COVID-19, which affect us all, and also RSV. RSV stands for respiratory syncytial virus. It's a major health risk for older people and for infants. In fact, RSV is the leading cause of hospitalizations for infants in the United States. It's a respiratory virus, and it can start off feeling very much like a common cold, but in some cases, it can quickly become something much worse that can even put you in the hospital. Fortunately, we now have vaccines available for RSV that offer protection against this virus. If you were vaccinated against RSV last year, then you're already protected. You don't need a second dose at this time. However, some infants and children who are at higher risk might need another dose before their second RSV season. So one of the best ways to get your baby protected is for the mother to get vaccinated for RSV during her 3rd trimester. When your newborn child arrives, that way they'll have protection against RSV from the moment that they're born. Another option is for the baby to receive an RSV antibody, which is like getting vaccinated, when they're less than 8 months old, or in some cases, less than 2 years old. Talk to your pediatrician. Make sure your baby is protected against the big 3 fall and winter respiratory viruses: flu, COVID-19, and RSV.
MySpot.nc.gov is available as an online resource from your North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Check it out for the latest information about where to find flu and COVID-19 vaccines near you and opportunities for free vaccines. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this medical game plan.
Welcome back to the U.S. Army Halftime Report. That was our NCDHHS medical game plan. And earlier this week, we spoke with Lillian Craven about what's going on at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds right now. Check it out.
There are lots of ways to get involved on ice at the arena ice rink. Of course, we have public ice skating, which is a big hit in the winter months where you're holed up in the house. So we expect lots of crowds, especially after the holidays in the ice rink. There are lots of ways to play hockey. We've got adult leagues, youth leagues, and we play hockey, which is in collaboration with the city's Parks and Rec department. And youth can come play hockey and work on skills and play pickup games. So lots of fun ways, and that's all on our website. There are lots of events coming up at the fairgrounds this year and this winter. We're kicking off hockey season with the Carolina Thunderbirds, and then we've got Wake Forest Club hockey. So all of the hockey schedules and all of the ice skating schedules can be found on our website at wsfairgrounds.com.
Welcome back to Greensboro. Impressive scoring first half, 21-6 at the break. 2 of the top 5 teams of the state. Let's dive into some of the numbers from that first half, because Grimsley's run the ball at a proficient rate, 10 yards a carry. Mark, and then Huff has had a couple of nice drives, but turnovers making it tough down the stretch.
Yeah, just turnovers and a lack of execution really for Huff. They started out so strong, not able to sustain that through the first half. As soon as the wind came out of their sails, it went right over into Grimsley's, and the Whirlies took off. No pun intended, of course, with the wind. But
Dorothy would have something to say about that.
She might, but there was definitely a shift in how the game went from that point going forward. Huff gets the first points on the board. From there, it's all Whirlies, and all thanks to number 22, Mitchell Summers.
Mitchell Summers with 175 yards rushing. And Blankney, 6 of 14, missed a couple open targets, and we're getting ready to hear from Coach Sean Baker here in just a second. And here's Hannah Brady down with the coach.
Half that you would have liked. How do you clean up some things on offense in the second half?
We just got to be more efficient. We're missing a lot of plays. We missed a deep ball. We threw the wrong guy. We just playing out of character right now. We got to get back to playing our ball.
What was the message in the locker room to come back out and start fast in the second half?
We hadn't been down like this all year. This is the time to show our heart, show our grit, fight for each other, and let's get it done.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Guys.
Sean Baker brings up a good point. Huff will not only get the football first, but a chance to get their offense moving here in the third quarter.
Well, that's what they need to do. I mean, if they want any real chance of hanging in this football game and getting themselves back in it, just from a mental standpoint of the game, you got to start thinking, hey, we got to score on this drive. That's got to be what happens here. Get some momentum back on your side. Go out here and put some points on the board to start the second half.
When we come back, second half kickoff here in Greensboro. Our My 48 game of the week continues after this. To Greensboro, North Carolina. This is the 4A regional semifinals. The winner will take on the winner of East Forsyth and Weddington. And right now, Weddington in prime position to win that game. So it could be a matchup of number 2 versus either number 1 or number 5 in the state coming up.
The way it's looked so far, number 1 falls behind a little bit early on, finds their groove offensively, and the defense then follows suit. Finish the first half on a very high note, 21 straight. See if Huff has anything to say about that to start the second half.
Shot win, and Sean Brady back to receive. Here's Chase Homental, and the second half is underway. Huff's largest deficit of the year as Wynn works from his 15. It's a nice gain out past the 25, and that's where Trey Blankety will start. 6 of 14 in that first half, and missed a couple of throws late in the second quarter.
Yeah, Blakeney just needs to be a little more sharp here as the second half gets underway. Really for Huff, if they're going to mount a comeback here in Greensboro, they've got to start putting drives together, and it's got to be with a little bit of a sense of urgency right now, because you know Grimsley's not done scoring the football to this point. You've got to act like every single drive going forward now here in the second half is your last. Have that sense of urgency, and you will find yourselves at least in a position better than where they're at now.
Matchup of a Charlotte-based Huff program and a Greensboro-based Grimsley team. Trey Blankety start the second half. Quick out route to Brady. Brady jukes one and is slammed down after a gain of 3. Grimsley's did a nice job corralling these open receivers today.
They have. The sure tackling has been there, swarming to the football as well. But the first guy, unlike what we've seen from Huff throughout the year, is getting these carriers down on the ground.
Huff in that first half, just 5 yards of play. Grimsley over 11 yards on offense. Trey Blankney on 2nd and 7. Goes short. Since the good catch, and Ciso and a first down. He'll get 8.
A little bit of eye candy over the middle of the field. 2 drag routes crossing over. Defense kind of shades that way a little bit, opens up along the sideline. Nice pitch and catch that time. And Ciso.
27th reception for the senior tailback. He's very elusive out of the backfield.
Big guy, but soft hands out of the backfield.
Now, fresh set of downs. Here's Enciso, dragged down immediately. Jaden Wardlow on pursuit. And this defensive line is getting penetration tonight.
They are. Initially, they weren't. Hoff was doing a great job of changing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front of the Whirlies back. But since then, they have continued to push their way back against that Huskies offensive line. Reestablished everything, and now have turned into the aggressors. They are making that contact, and they are making life more difficult on the Huskies up front.
Including number 40, Fort Hyelgo, the former JV standout, now checking in at the D-line position. 2nd and 8. Enciso blowing through the blockers. And Enciso shoved out of bounds. His ability to break tackles, move his feet, how has that impacted the Huff running game?
Well, it's been great. When he's broken contain like he did on that play, getting outside the tackle, there's no one there for him, just backside to backside counterplay. Nice play call, but it's the physicality that he runs with that makes him such a dynamic runner in those situations.
Enciso over 8 yards a carry. One of the largest tailbacks left in the state playoffs. He's physical at 6 foot 200. Now high snap on 3rd down. Enciso makes something of it and cuts into Grimsley territory for the 1st down.
That is a miraculous play by Trey Blakeney. Getting that football down. High snap almost turns into disaster. Sticks his paw up in the air, brings it back down, and still, Enciso has the patience to also stay on schedule with him. Wait. That had disaster written all over it. What a play by Trey Blakeney.
Can you get mossed on your own catch? That one-hand snag with the quarterback. What a play by Blakeney to save a fumble.
It's a really good understanding, though, between Blakeney and Enciso. He waits and waits and waits. Finally, the ball comes down. They just run the play.
Now 1st and 10. Much better snap. Enciso powers forward for a yard, maybe 2.
You get a feeling right now that they're trying to establish that running game. Get it back.
Searles on the stop, pardon me.
That physicality back into the football game on their side. They lost it as the first half went on. Now they're trying to reset the button coming out of the halftime break. Get something done. Establish that running game. See if they can maybe suck this defense down closer to the line and take some shots over the top.
Jason Enciso now at 85 yards rushing. He's been the bulk of the offense today. Here's 2nd and 10. Blakeney changes the play. Elects for the run. Enciso cuts loose. 1v1. Nice juke. And into the red zone. Explosive play at 20.
I'm telling you, man, that physicality goes a long way in games like this. You see it. Enciso, he is fired up, and rightfully so. Breaks through that line, gets past that first arm tackle attempt by Bryce Davis, and from there, it's a physical mentality down the field.
It's a Crescent Ford 1st down as Enciso on 1st down. Dives forward and comes up short after a gain of 2 in the Cook Reynolds red zone. Running the smart way to get things done.
Hardest part of the drive has now arrived. For Huff, the field condenses down. The defense has less to cover, so they can take more things into account. That's where you have to get to within this game. Give yourself an opportunity to score. When you have those opportunities, you've got to make sure you're capitalizing.
Here's 2nd and 9. Funderburk comes in. Funderburk slips a tackle. Funderburk scores. 2nd rushing touchdown for the 220-pound tank.
Physicality wins ball games in the playoffs. Funderburk scores for the 2nd time because that offensive line established the line of scrimmage on that drive. They open up a hole, and Funderburk, 6 foot 220, steamrolls his way into the end zone.
A missed extra point and a missed field goal today for Huff. See how Candler Happy makes the 3rd opportunity. Good hold at the end there, resulting in the extra point. So a touchdown drive of 70 yards counters for Huff. We got a ball game here in the third. One-score matchup. Huff, Grimsley, when we come back. Thanks for watching all across the Trad and all across the state. Tonight's game is being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page, sponsored by Novant Health. Best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. With Mark Colbert, I'm Evan Budrovich, Hannah Brady on the sideline. You guys can see us up here, Hannah down there, freezing it out. And how about this touchdown run from Funderburg?
That was interesting. You see the snap here. A little high again off target. Blakeney has to save that. It's the second time on the drive that he corrals a bad snap. Gets it down his running back. First it was Enciso early on the drive. Now Funderburg, patient enough for him to get the football back in his possession, get the clean handoff, and it results in a touchdown because of it. You cannot make light of plays like that in situations like this, in a game like this. Hoff now finds themselves back in this fight because of plays like that on that drive.
A battle of rushing touchdowns tonight. 4 of the 5 scores on the ground. Funderburg, the workhorse back. He replaces last year's starter Will Jones, who rushed for over 1,000 yards.
So now here comes the next part of the equation if you are the Huff Huskies. Offensively, you get out, you reestablish the game offensively, get yourself back in it, you feel good, you're in a rhythm. Flip side, how do you now stop this offense in Grimsley, which have been unstoppable after a slow start in the second quarter?
There's Candler happy to kick things, Candler happy to kick things off. Grimsley's been held in check in the kick return game today because of an elusive leg into the end zone. This is where Faison Brandon will start in the second half. Only 3 of 6, but 78 yards in the passing game.
Hasn't had to do a whole lot throwing the football tonight. That's because that rushing attack has been so dominant. Mitchell Summers so good in the first half. The long distance strikes, the 2 touchdowns that he had, really helped establish a physical mindset for Grimsley offensively. Didn't require Faison Brandon to do a whole lot through the air.
Mitchell Summers dominating on the ground, 175 yards rushing in that first half. And here's Summers right next to Brandon on first down. Summers takes it, bounces off one, and a short gain on first down. Good pursuit by this defensive line. Sincere Brewster, the junior, on the stop.
It sounds crazy, Evan, but you almost want to stop Mitchell Summers and start putting the game into Faison Brandon's hands. Here late in the season, it's cold, you want to run the football. You take away that, you bump your chances up. It doesn't matter who you're playing at quarterback spot.
Because Mitchell Summers is averaging 10 yards a carry. No stopping him tonight. Quick toss. There's Caden Cateau, the catch. Slips the tackle. And Cateau dragged down to the 25, so just a gain of 2. And Cateau entered this game as the big receiving threat, 55 receptions.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that's his first catch of the night. I mean, this is a guy who has established himself firmly as the top receiving threat on this team, and Hoff has done a great job of corralling him, limiting his impact on the game so far tonight.
The way Grimsley uses Cateau in the slot is the way Alex Taylor, now the Carolina receiver, and Troy Anderson dominated last year for Grimsley in a trip to a region final. This offense is run through Cateau and Summers tonight.
Now 3rd and medium. So many weapons. Where do they go?
Quarterback keeper leaning on the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state, and he loses yards. Really nice pursuit. And a stop from Samari Matthews, the 4-star DB.
You see Faison Brandon start to tuck and run, you better believe it's not a fake. He is keeping the football downhill defensively. The Huskies respond on their first drive of the second half. Great push up front, bodies flying around the line of scrimmage, and a swarm to the football, and your Gatorade Player of the Year.
Here's the punting unit. Chase Homento in the punt. Short kick for Grimsley. Now dive at the 45-yard line. And now Huff did exactly what Coach Sean Brady noted. Get a stop, get the football back.
There's some momentum building. You can start to see that pendulum swinging back from the home side over to the away sideline. They're making some noise. You can feel a different energy right now here in the third quarter.
Coming up in the fourth, stay tuned to find out who's tonight's Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Player of the Game. Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, your one-stop shop for entertainment. And then in the fourth, we'll have tonight's My 48 Play of the Game. My 48, your home for local sports. And of course, stay tuned in the fourth for our Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. Have a great deal in your next Kubota at Linder Turf and Tractor. Low 20s, regional semifinal, top 5 teams in the state getting after it. And here's Huff on the move from the 45. Brady outside. Brady immediately tackled. Great pursuit by this Grimsley defense.
An interesting formation that time. They brought Brady in motion and stopped him to the right.
That was Mayor Harris Dupree on the stop.
Put him all the way back to the right. Enciso was just next to him, and then on the other side of Enciso was Blakey.
The explosive passing plays have not been there for Huff tonight, averaging just 8 yards in the air.
And you can see they're trying to get the football into a guy like Sean Brady's hands, even in the quick passing game.
Here's 2nd and 8. A lot of time. Blanking it, going for it all, just through the hands of Evans.
He stopped running.
He had the 5-star receiver, couldn't find him.
Tyron Evans stopped running his route. And I'm not exactly sure why that was, but if he keeps running down the field, that is right there. Blakeney puts it exactly where it needs to be within the construct of the play. See here, he looks down the field, and there's a little hesitation. You don't see it before it comes on screen. But Evans hesitates oh so slightly, slows down on his route, and he's not where he needs to be on that play.
After only 2 touchdowns as a junior, 14 scores for Evans. He's been explosive. But unable to connect there with Blakeney. Here's 3rd and 8. Blakeney pumps, little screen. Funderburk has the first, and Funderburk to the 35 before Debo trips him up.
Wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Get those blockers out in front, not a whole lot of bodies around for that Whirly's defense to bring Funderburk down. The big-bodied back gets out there, snares one, picks up the fresh set of downs.
And playing the aggressive nature of Grimsley against him on that option.
You sense all those bodies coming on a blitz, get the football out quick. Great play call.
Here's Enciso on 1st down. Turns it back up. Churning the legs and a gain of 3 for Enciso, who averaged 8 yards a carry coming in. He's a tough back to stop in open space.
I gotta tell you, I love the way he runs. The aggression, the wanting to initiate that contact, that's what you want to see. When you have backs at this point in the season, when it's cold, people don't want to get hit and they still want to hit you, that is the kind of running back you want in this situation.
2nd and 7. Play action. Quick route through the hands of Brady. Another misconnection between Brady and the quarterback Blakeney.
Brady's got to catch that football. That being said, that is about the 2nd or 3rd time tonight where Blakeney has just put the ball behind his receiver. He puts that out in front. Brady is running the whole way back to Cornelius at this point. He doesn't. Brady has to turn around and adjust, and because of his speed, it's carrying him away. He can't make the catch.
Sets up 3rd and 7. So Blakeney's missed 10 throws, but a couple of good looks there.
Those are the plays so far tonight that have been the difference in this ballgame.
3rd down. Blankney slides up, goes short, nice catch. Evans jukes back. Another broken tackle. Evans inside the 10. It's 25 yards and into the red zone.
All steps up, that good pocket presence right there. Blakeney just senses it, steps into the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, finds Evans this time. What a conversion.
Back on the ground, and Ciso gets a block, dives, hold on. Rolled short inside the 1. And that fumble was dangerous too.
It sure was, and Ciso makes it so hard on a defense though. Getting up the field, that one cut, it's north and south, man. See him, watch here, puts the foot in the ground, boom, he's upfield in a hurry. Stretching out, he was out of bounds by the time that football was fumbled. Man.
2nd and goal. Blankney, keeper, Davis wrangles him down. And just short, 3rd and goal. What a tackle by the Duke commit.
That's unbelievable. Right down around the line of scrimmage here. That's one-on-one. Austin P versus Duke, and he gets folded back. Blakeney does like a pretzel on that.
Advantage Blue Devils over the Governors.
No kidding.
Blankney back in. Huff scored on its opening drive. Now 3rd and goal.
Got to think here, Funderburk's the guy. He's got 2 tuds already tonight.
3rd and goal. Blankney, keeper, pushing, touchdown! Powerful run from the Huff quarterback.
There is no way it's designed that way. That's the handoff to Funderburk. But Blakeney does a great job. Another bad snap, he corrals it, realizes the play is broken down, and just gets upfield. And then on top of that, your push.
The tush push.
From his offensive line, getting across the goal line, that.
Amari Lawrence Broom, the left tackle, with the assist. And now going for 2. So the math game becomes a factor.
Well, think how big now that becomes, that missed extra point on their first touchdown in the first quarter.
Wow, and Huff burns a timeout. Major frustration from head coach Sean Baker. He's also the OC.
Tyron Evans seemed to be on the receiving end of that one. Burning a timeout like that, waning minutes of the 3rd quarter, you know what this game means, where you're at in the process.
Because you're thinking going for 2 regardless here.
Correct. I don't think there's any question about that, but think about as the game goes on, not having that 3rd timeout in your back pocket, big deal. Big deal from a clock management standpoint, from a game management standpoint. It is huge that they don't have that going forward.
Big decision here for Huff. And closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health, hands-on, compassionate care around the clock. You go back to Funderburk here if you're Huff. Leave it in the quarterback's hands.
I think given what we've seen so far tonight, I'm putting it in Blakeney's hands and allowing him to go out there and make a play. Just allow him to go out there and make a play so he's got those options.
Crucial 2-point conversion late in this 3rd quarter. Blankney to tie the game. Blankney fires, and Ciso scores. 21 all on the 2-point mastery.
What a play, the 2-pointer again, and Ciso, not the run, but the catch. The Huskies storm back, and we are tied in Greensboro.
Welcome back to Jamison Stadium here on the campus of Grimsley High School. Tonight's game is also being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page. Visit Novant Health, best physicians, amazing nurses, remarkable care. And if you're just joining us, 2 scores in the second half for Huff. An emotional response from Sean Baker's club.
Pretty impressive.
The team that hadn't trailed by 2 scores all year until tonight.
And the way this game had gone, you start wondering about the adversity. What kind of mental makeup did the Huff Huskies have as a team? Only loss comes back in week 1 against Northwestern, a South Carolina power, 45-44. Haven't lost since, so you start thinking about where they're at mentally. I think they've answered that so far here in the third quarter. A couple of touchdown drives. First one by Land, second one by Land again until the 2-pointer by air.
The kickoff from Happy. And another kick in the end zone. And Hannah Brady, how about the 2-point play for Huff?
Well, Evan, after that 2-point conversion, the energy on the Huskies sideline has shifted entirely. All the players ran over to the bench and said, right now, it's our time. It's our time to win this game, guys.
Remember, Huff's lost 2 straight in this rivalry, both deep in the playoffs, and you can tell it's playing a factor tonight.
They know it. Don't go into this matchup now, especially here in the waning moment of the third quarter, thinking that they don't know what's happened the last 2 years. They came up here with that knowledge, and now, with it in their back pocket, they have stormed back and made this game all tied up.
Here's Faison Brandon on first down. Feeds Summers. Summers immediately swallowed up. And he has 2 touchdowns of 80 or more yards tonight, but otherwise held in check.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job. Those 2 touchdowns, of course, you can't ignore them. But outside of those 2 runs, they have held him in check on the ground. For a guy who's so used to just shredding defenses apart consistently, those 2 runs now stand out as the only 2 real plays that we've seen a massive impact from Mitchell Summers in this football game.
And Summers, with those 2 touchdowns, now leads the state, 43 rushing touchdowns. He's been the offense for #1 seed Grimsley. 2nd and 9. Back to Summers. Big hole. Summers does it again. Foot race. Breaks a tackle. Summers in the Huff territory. He's unstoppable.
There is not a running back in this state with the footwork of Mitchell Summers. The way he just breaks tackles, but you see how the legs never stop moving. And that's what makes him great once he gets into the second level. See here, just getting up over the top, breaks the first tackle, stepping over the defender, and then churns out more yards because of it.
The fact this kid's not signed to a college yet blows my mind.
It's insane.
6,000 career rushing yards for Mitchell Summers, 4-year starter here at Grimsley. And he's been explosive now at 177 yards. Right back to Summers. Keep feeding the well, and Mitchell pushes the pile for 3 more.
Can you say what the career rushing yards were again, Evan?
6,200 now, officially.
And this kid doesn't have a college offer yet. I mean, that's unbelievable. You can sit here and talk to me about his size, his measurables, all that stuff. You're trying to tell me there's a kid with 6,000 rushing yards as a running back in high school, and he doesn't have a collegiate offer. If you can play ball, they will find you. Mitchell Summers, I promise him, will be at the next level.
And he's partnered with the #1 quarterback recruit in the state. Faison Brandon, who feeds Summers. Summers jukes, keeps moving the pile, and right near the first down as we tick under a minute in the third.
Start thinking that he heard us talking up here in the booth. Starting to chip away a little bit. That one big run. Now 2 runs in a row where he's had an impact. You gotta wonder, with the clock ticking down, what they decide they want to do. Critical third down here, 3rd and 2. And I don't think Grimsley's going to go for it. I think they're going to take it into the 4th quarter, partner.
Let's go to the 4th in this 4A regional semifinal. The winner gets a trip to play for the state, and 2 of the best teams in it continue to battle. 3rd time's the charm, 21 apiece. Round 3 continues after this timeout. Two of the best teams in the state of North Carolina battled out for the next 12 minutes. Grimsley and Huff, back-to-back scores for Huff in the third. And now Faison Brandon, the Gatorade State Player of the Year, goes to work on offense. He's been complimented by an elusive tailback, Mitchell Summers, 220 yards on the ground. Here's Summers again. Dives forward on third down, and he might have enough.
Oh, he's close.
Decision time here ruled short, so 4th and inches.
It's certainly at a point on the field. More than likely too long for a field goal. You got inches to go. Faison Brandon tapping his offensive lineman on the helmet. He knows what's about to happen. They are going for this one. Interesting though, Summers not in the backfield, in the slot.
Brandon moving Summers back there. Here's 4th and short. Timeout, Grimsley. A chance to talk it over.
Make sure that everyone knows what their assignment is on this play.
The state's leading rusher, Mitchell Summers, most touchdowns, most rushing yards, and you have to think he'll be involved here on 4th down.
100%. 100%. He has been the bell cow all night long on this drive. Unless I'm wrong, every single play so far has been to Mitchell Summers. Certainly a situation where you start thinking, if you are Huff, they're running the football. 4th and inches to go, you put it on your offensive line to go ahead and get you that yard. You know how aggressive Huff is. And they're very capable of getting penetration. How many bodies do you commit to running the football here? Or at least playing against the run.
Grimsley team undefeated in the regular season. They've won 63 of their last 65 games. Hard to fathom. And now in a dogfight with a Huff program that's lost twice deep in the playoffs against Grimsley. This Huff defensive line's been really good in the second half. Grimsley's running games made the difference.
Can Huff get push up front?
A critical 4th and short. Summers needs one, has one, and a couple more. Push into the 31.
Statement play. As an offensive lineman, you live for 4th and 1 late in a ball game to make a statement. This is just Bob, big on big. And you want guys to go ahead and get you a yard. There is no game plan to that. That's, hey, push them back, we're getting a yard.
The pulling guard made all the difference on that one. There's TJ Bunch. 1st and 10. Summers again, cuts left. Summers gets 2. Now an injured Huff player as Grimsley was looking to go no huddle. That's Sincere Brewster slow to get up.
I wonder if he's cramping a little bit, kind of looks that way.
Brewster at 30 tackles this year on the D-line. He's been rotating in and out all year, but a real good anchor. They love his leverage on this defensive line.
One of the oldest adages in football, low man wins, right? So you've got to be able to get, especially as a defensive player, low underneath those offensive linemen, allow them to go to work.
Good to see Brewster get back up. Oh. That may not be a good sign for Huff. Losing a starting defensive tackle. Coach Sean Baker right in the mix. He was the longtime coach at Cox Mill across the city. Gets the opportunity here at a 4A program and has put Huff right back in the state title conversation.
This conversation here in the recent years, they have certainly been in quite a lot. They've now positioned themselves with an opportunity to finally break through past this Grimsley squad. The last 2 years has been their arch enemy, the hump that they simply cannot get over.
So out of the timeout, the injury, it's 2nd and 8. Grimsley has been explosive and dominant on the ground. 230 yards rushing. The best rushing attack in the state coming in has continued to carry that forward. And with the reigning state champs in Weddington waiting in the wings, that's the winner, will take on this club, who can join Weddington in a region final. Summers goes to the quarterback. Brandon pushed out of bounds and a loss of 1.
That is an excellent play made out on the edge. Will Berlin does not fall for the fake, gets out there and puts the initial pressure on Faison Brandon, slows him up enough to allow some of his defensive teammates to get over there and help escort Brandon out of bounds.
And Samari Matthews with the bone-crushing hit. Berlin, who's a junior, he has a chance to play at the Power 4 level next year with lead speed. Here's 3rd and 8. Brandon rolls out. Brandon across his body, incomplete, and a flag. The coverage from Reggie Rayner, the UNC Charlotte commit.
And it was close. You're putting that ball up in the air, and that is a trust throw back to the middle of the field. Pressure gets there, coverage holds up long enough. Brandon goes back again across his body. Yeah, it's a good call.
Got to allow the receiver to catch it.
Yep. Rayner gets there just a hair early.
Remember, in the high school game, it's just a 15-yard penalty, not a spot foul.
But it is also now a 1st down. Keeps the drive alive.
Only 3 penalties for Huff tonight. It's been a clean game. 3rd straight year these clubs, Grimsley and Huff, have met in a state tournament. Winner of this game takes on Weddington in the West Final. 1st and 10. Summers pushing the pile, still turning. Summers gets 4. That's a hard-earned run on the Cook Reynolds red zone.
It is unbelievable.
In a state where Todd Gurley of the Rams made a living here in North Carolina, dominating with the Tarboro T. It's Mitchell Summers, that next generation, 2,000 yards rushing.
Todd Gurley's Amir White, Mitchell Summers, talk about him.
The Mount Rushmore, North Carolina. Brandon goes short, nice screenplay, touchdown! Hudson Cooper, the trickeration.
Just a little bit of play action. What it does for you, it opens it up. The defense steps up, and they left Hudson wide open in the middle of the field. That is about as close to a gift wrap present as you're going to find.
First score of the year for Cooper, coming out of nowhere.
Like I said, there's going to have to be other guys that step up here tonight. If you're Grimsley, who's going to be the hero? And on this drive, it's Hudson Cooper.
Hudson Cooper, the junior tight end, coming to play. 2 scores for the Tutties tonight. Grimsley back up a score. What a battle, 2 of the top 5 teams in the state. Huff and Grimsley. It's a touchdown for Hudson Cooper, the tight end, his 5th of the year. And The #1 quarterback in the state, Faison Brandon. Not his traditional targets, but finding the tight ends a bunch tonight.
Somebody else has to make a play. You got to understand, the outside, it's been Caden Coteau all year long for Grimsley. That's been their big guy. If it's not him, it's been Caden Battle. But if it's not those two guys, who is it going to be? DJ Howerton steps up, has a touchdown tonight. He's caught fire here recently. And then his backup, Hudson Cooper, cashes in on the last drive. So it can't just always be the usual suspects. Somebody else has to help out, and that supporting cast for Grimsley has done their part tonight.
Final 9 minutes to see who will face Weddington in the West Region Final. And a kickoff from Homental. That's returnable here. Brady cuts it back. Brady stays alive and dragged near the 25. So Trey Blankeny, 10 incompletions, couple of big ones in the red zone, but his running ability a difference tonight.
It's made a huge difference. Just pushing the pocket, making sure that this defense can't simply rest back and drop back into coverage whenever he's back there throwing the football. And even on the designed runs, he's done an excellent job of finding those holes, exploiting them, and getting some yards. It doesn't have to be an explosive play, but as long as you're continuing to move the ball further and further down the field, you are doing your job, and that's exactly what Trey Blakeney has done here tonight.
Fresh set of downs for Huff and Ciso. Nice cut, and he'll get 3 yards. 125 yards rushing now for Enciso. Clock ticks at 9 minutes and 20 seconds here in the fourth.
How much longer do you continue to play that game where you're wanting to run the football? Of course, there's plenty of time left in the football game to this point, but you got to hurry to some degree.
Now 2nd and 8. Co-coordinator and head coach Sean Baker. He's leaned on the running game a ton tonight. Huff typically a passing team, 3,000 yards through the air. And Ciso in motion. Blankney tosses, and Ciso gets a crease. And that's the first down yardage, moving the chains.
It's so smart to get a back the size of Enciso out on the edge. Why? Because you then put him in one-on-one matchups with defensive backs who are more than likely not going to be as big as him. See it there, he's dragging those defenders, those smaller defenders out on the edge along with him. It's just smart play design to get your players in the best matchups.
After the little tractor first down, making tall grass short. Grass is real short when it's 20 degrees out, and we're in the late rounds of the state tournament. Blankney on 1st and 10. And Ciso nowhere to go. And Bryce Davis, the Duke signee, in on a stop. No gain.
Start thinking how effective Enciso is at getting onto the edge of the play, right? So many times tonight he's been able to attack, get around the corner, around his offensive line, and attack the edges of this defense. But when they've gone in between the tackles, Grimsley's done a really nice job of containing him and not allowing him to get those tough yards.
Now spreading out this Grimsley defense. 2nd and 9. Blankney steps up, loses his helmet, and that's a penalty on Davis. A clear definition of face mask.
Yeah, it doesn't get a whole lot more clear than that.
He lost his face mask.
Yep. Lost the face mask, lost the helmet, chin strap, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, right up over the top. Sometimes you get out there as a defender, you get on the edge, you see the quarterback step up, you just want to reach out and see if you can get a hand on them. Oftentimes, just see that hand a little too high.
And the fact that Blankney's okay, I mean, that's a bigger talking point.
Helmet gets ripped off, I know.
And that's a large man in Bryce Davis, 6'4", 250.
Limping a little bit at that. Saw one of the Huff players cramp earlier in the game as well, even in this weather.
Manny Diaz with a 9-win Duke program, a happy camper looking for a 4-star coming in this fall.
Pretty great. Good start for Manny over there in Durham.
Duke had an impressive season, finished 3rd in the ACC with Clemson and SMU meeting tomorrow.
I believe finished on a high note too, beating Wake Forest in the final seconds of their game.
Duke won the North State matchup, beat every team in the Carolinas. And here in Greensboro, we got a one-score game. First down. Blankney, quick shot. Good snag. Evans cuts back. And Evans into the red zone. He picks up 30.
Finally, they get that RPO action over the top. They get the hang route right there. Evans, finally, the benefactor of it, gets the catch. And then the run after catch ability on full display as well. An easy step throw. That is as on point a throw in those quick, decisive situations as we've seen from Blakeney tonight.
Into the Cook Reynolds red zone. Blankney. And Ciso. Cut back. Searles tripped him up. Gain of 2. And this becomes a must-score scenario if you're Huff now.
Oh, absolutely. Taking down to the midway point of the quarter now. You know the football's going to have to go back to Grimsley. There's no denying that, but as an offense, you continue to chip away at what they've done. Tied it up already once. And on your way to doing it yet again. Can they finish the drive here?
2 scoring drives in the second half, all on the ground for Huff. Blankney changing the play clock to 8. Blankney on second down, finds Enciso. Powers forward. He's short of the sticks. Third and medium upcoming.
That play was drawn up, and if you had the actual lines for how the play was supposed to go, that's exactly what happened. Enciso did not leave the track that he was supposed to be on that entire play. Great push up front by the offensive line. Good finish to the run as well by Enciso.
Third straight year, Huff and Grimsley have met deep in the North Carolina playoffs. Now it's Huff knocking on the door in the red zone. Third and 4. Blankney by himself. Here's the blitz. Blankney, throwback. Funderburk, uncontested, touchdown. Funderburk's third score, and Huff's within 1.
How about we motion our starter out of the backfield? 3 receivers, surely we're going to throw a screen to that side to our big running back out in space. He's got blockers in front. Except we're not, because our 220 guys on the other side, wide open alone. No one home to stop him. Funderburk, a hat trick here in Greensboro.
Season high 3 touchdowns for Funderburk. Remember, Huff's missed a field goal and an extra point tonight. This is Happy. Good hold. Happy sneaks it through. No guarantees tonight. And it's 28 all.
Unsung heroes on the other side of plenty for Grimsley. Tonight, it's been Jamison Funderburk for the Huff Huskies. Cashes in again, and we are tied halfway through the 4th.
Closed captioning for tonight's game brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health. Your family needs are our top priority. And Jamison Funderburk, 3 touchdowns. He only had 9 all year coming in. What a performance in the second half.
Got to have other guys step up. And tonight, Jamison Funderburk has been a revelation for this offense. 2 rushing scores. Now adds a receiving one. The trickeration and deception on full display. The Huskies offensively here in the second half have figured something out. They're able to move the ball down the field. And it's been a blend of physicality in the run game and the timely plays throwing the football that have allowed them to find balance and efficiency on offense.
Final 5 minutes to decide, can Grimsley or Huff match up with the reigning state champs, Weddington? The lone reigning state champs still alive in the playoffs. Couple upsets tonight. Mount Airy has gone down. Reedsville has lost in previous weeks, so a lot of the reigning champions done, but Hickory's still alive at the 3A level. Here at 4A football, the highest level in the state, a kick return from the 5. Grimsley brings it out, and Summers out past the 20, where he's hit hard.
I feel like that's the first time I've seen Mitchell Summers stonewall ever.
Summers, who's picked up 250 total yards, finally held in check. He's the leading rusher in the state, complimenting the top-rated quarterback in next year's class. Faison Brandon heading to Tennessee, old Rocky Top, for Josh Heupel.
They're excited about it. Tennessee, a revelation here in the last couple of years.
And a playoff team here in the college football playoff. Now a trip to the 5th round of the playoffs on the line tonight. It's Summers, squirts forward, and Summers spins for 3 yards on first down. And he's tripped up by an injured Chris Hilliard, the defensive tackle. So we'll stop the clock.
Hilliard's so integral to that center point, that defensive front. All these guys that come in, the interchange, the junior has his own impact on the year. 5 sacks in a backup role, pretty impressive.
We've seen 2 injured defensive linemen for Huff tonight, really testing Chachi Sullivan's D-line. Neat story, Chachi and Sean Baker were teammates at South Carolina State. One the running back, one an elite DB, and now they're working together at Huff and transforming this program a couple years in together.
Chachi's been there since Huff came into existence. Not just the football program, the school as a whole. Took the student body from a couple of the surrounding schools in the area, and of course, as they always do, makes up a new school in Huff. Nestled over there in Cornelius, so about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for them this evening. But man, it says a lot when you've got guys that have been there for the entirety of the program since 2010. And that makes a big difference when you're trying to build a culture. And you've got a guy like Chachi Southern that sets the tone. Even when we talked to him before the game, you could tell there's this quiet intensity to him. You asked him if he calls plays either down on the field or at the booth. He says, nah, man, I got to be down here with the action. That's what you love to see out of your defensive coordinators, man. You love to see guys that are aggressive, but they want to be down on the field, feel what's going on so they get a good feel for how the game is going.
Loved every second of rebuilding this program with his former teammate. And after Grimsley out of this long timeout, 2nd and 8, you've seen Huff march the ball down 3 times in this half. This is a must-score drive if you're Grimsley.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The way that Huff has been running their offense here in half number 2, again, they figured something out. They found a good balance offensively. These next couple of plays are the 2 biggest plays, at least in this down and distance, of Grimsley's season right now. For a team that really hasn't faced, if we're being honest, much of a challenge since they played Rolesville in week 2, which they won 35-20. You haven't really seen Grimsley go against an opponent where you're like, hey, that's a super quality win. Now they have one that comes into their house.
Yeah, Grimsley's beaten 3 ranked teams in the state, including Rolesville, who's in a region semifinal on the other side of the bracket, on the east side. But in terms of Western opponents, it's really a step up for both these clubs tonight. They've lived up to it.
Yeah, it's been exactly what you hear all week, everything that it's built up to be. The battle, the rivalry that has kind of blossomed between these 2 programs just from the playoff meetings here the last couple years.
So as we continue to mend to the injured D lineman, Chris Hilliard, a reminder, it's a busy Saturday. Not only great high school football tonight, but championship Saturday. Of course, in Charlotte down the road, SMU and Clemson, the nightcap. Arizona State and Iowa State in the Big 12. And talk about playoff seeding. Texas, Georgia, Part 2 Can Georgia exact some revenge in Atlanta?
There's a lot that can reshape the way the college football playoff looks tomorrow afternoon and evening. Those 3 games in particular, the winner of the Big 12 championship goes. It's win or go home for the playoff standards. Texas fighting to get that real big signature win on their record. And of course, Clemson out of nowhere, the benefactors of Miami going down to Syracuse last week, find themselves in the championship game yet again.
Clemson losing what they thought would be an elimination game against South Carolina to then get the benefit of the Miami loss. It's a fun time at the high school level and the college level. Good news, we have more football. Hey, by the way, there's a Simpsons cast to this if you're going to check it out on Disney+. But the regular broadcast, Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. Bengals fighting for their playoff lives, and Cowboys are out of the hunt.
Leading with Cooper Rush, huh?
That's what they got.
You just going quarterbacks there? Is it CeeDee Lamb?
Well, that's what the script says. I just read the script. Chris Hilliard now has to go into a boot in his leg. Be tough to see him come back. We'll see.
And that's a key defensive player up front as well. Really good at getting penetration to the backfield, resetting the line of scrimmage whenever he's in the football game. Certainly here in the late stages, something to keep an eye on. You can see there the emotion coming down from him.
Multiple defensive linemen injured tonight for Huff. This is a loaded group. In comes Emmanuel Gregory to fill that spot on the D-line. 2nd and 8. It's Summers. Gets outside. Summers cuts, and he has the first to the 35. Mitchell Summers nearly 250 yards tonight.
Just so shifty. At the point of attack, it's so hard to bring down a guy like Mitchell Summers. One, because he's small and you get that shiftiness, but he's so quick. When he makes those cuts, he's so decisive getting up the field.
Now some quick tempo for Grimsley. 24 carries for Summers tonight, doing it all. The #1 tailback by yardage and scoring in the state. Fresh set of downs, Summers again. Takes his time, and Mitchell gets 2. Good stop by the DN, Cameron Sear.
Start wondering, you want to get back into the groove of things. That long wait on the sidelines there for the injury cools the bodies down a little bit, get some up-tempo going, fire everything back up, and see if you can continue to find that rhythm.
Starting linebacker Aiden Bell subbed out on the play. So here's Grimsley on 2nd and 7. Winner of this game takes on the #2 seed Weddington in the region final. Here's 2nd down. Summers has a hole, cuts loose. Summers escapes into Huff territory and slides out of bounds at the 30. Mitchell Summers over 270 yards tonight.
Mitchell Summers running out of his cleats that time. When they need a play on offense, it's always going to be number 22 that's going to get the football because they know that he can make a play. Actually ran out of his cleat earlier before he even got down the field.
The one-shoe 35-yard scamper on the Riddle Tractor first down.
Already got it back in the game as well.
Mitchell Summers nearing 6,400 career yards. This kid's explosive.
As explosive a spark plug as there is.
Here's Summers again. Cuts it forward to the 24. How do you manage clock now for Grimsley with under 3 to go?
Keep it on the ground. For a couple of reasons. One, you just want to continue to work that clock, right? But the second point, and probably more importantly, Huff has not shown the ability to completely shut down this rushing attack. You bust a couple of 2 to 3 yard gains here or there, but then you can break one that's longer.
Mitchell Summers, 187 yards last year when these teams met. 280 yards tonight. As Grimsley right outside the red zone. First down. Summers needed 5. He'll get 1. So 3rd and medium upcoming. So we tick to 2 minutes in the 4th. Do you trust the kicking unit, or is this go for it territory?
You have field goal kickers for a reason, right? I know in high school that's a tall ask for any kicker, especially in a spot like this. But depending on your down and distance, I tell you, if you're within 2 yards, they're going for it.
Sets up 3rd and 4. Brandon feeds Summers. Summers is short. And decision time with 1.5 minutes to go. Huff is not using a timeout. Okay, now they will for an injury. So it's an official timeout. Measure. Look at Jackson Henry. Is he going to get the call here with 1:24 left? And will the clock run once the official signals for play?
So here's the interesting thing here is maybe you go for it here because while Huff has been able to move the ball well, it has not been in chunks. And so we're talking about a team now, those 2 timeouts, 1.5 minutes left.
Offense stays on the field.
Saw it last night. Lions in field goal range, they go for it because you want to end the game with the football in your hands.
Play of the season for the #1 seed Grimsley. That clock is running, 1 minute left. Now a timeout. So a decision here for Daryl Summers. Pardon me, Daryl Brown with Mitchell Summers as tailback.
Everything that we know about Grimsley, you got to go for it. You got to go for it.
And then play for the field goal, essentially?
Potentially.
With 59 seconds.
Or you run your offense. But you can't worry about what comes after that just yet because you got to worry about picking up this first down.
3rd straight year, this matchup's come down to a 1-score game. Overtime in 22. A game-winning touchdown in the 4th last year for Grimsley. And driving again with 1 minute to play here in this region semifinal.
What a game. So off defensively, you of course have to get some level of penetration up front, but you gotta think that this is a run. And it is Mitchell Summers just slamming it into the middle of that line.
Big decision for 9th-year head coach Daryl Brown.
Do or die.
And here comes the offense. 2 of the top 5 teams in the state. Final minute here in regulation. 4th and 1. And movement. A false start for Grimsley. Do you go for it or do you trust the kicker here?
That offense is staying out on the field. Oh my goodness. Yeah, easy call.
And Mitchell Summers has to sub out because he was off the field before the penalty. Here we go, 4th and 6.
Wow.
Unless Grimsley uses a timeout. How about this?
How much pressure does Huff bring here?
4th and 6. Brandon has time. Brandon fires. Caught. Touchdown, Grimsley. DJ Howerton again. And a Grimsley lead.
Lulled to sleep. Cateau comes in motion. They fake it that way. Everything goes out to the right side.
And we have a flag on the field. Hold on. This is after the play.
If that stands, that is such a genius play call by this offensive staff. You motion everything out to the right. The play follows Faison Brandon to the right side of the field. Howerton is wide open, all alone by himself.
This is after the play.
That's pretty big.
So that affects the kickoff.
Yes, it does. That's pretty big. That's a field position thing.
And still some time for Huff. And Jackson Henry, who made the game-winning field goal in overtime 2 years ago when these teams met, looks to make it 7. He does. And now Huff with 52 seconds to come back.
Just watch here. Coteau comes in motion. The entire defense flows out. Howerton comes back across the formation, starts out on the right and just sneaks out the backside. Not a single defender was within 20 yards of him when he caught that football.
Now that taunting penalty gives Huff a lot of chances here in the last minute.
That's the back end of the play. So now the kickoff moves further back. You give them essentially free field position that way. And Huff still has 2 timeouts left on the board. And 2 receivers who can do damage at any point in time from anywhere on the field.
This game is far from over with 52 seconds left. Late game heroics from Faison Brandon, the top-ranked quarterback in next year's class. And it's becoming Faison Brandon's world right now.
You and I had talked before the game. The thought is, how do they stop? If you are Huff, how do you stop Grimsley?
So this kickoff from the 25-yard line.
Of course, you sit there and say, well, we got to stop Mitchell Summers. We got to stop Faison Brandon. There have been a lot of games where Faison Brandon had to take over this game. Because Grimsley is so good at what they do, there were a lot of games where he was out by halftime. He didn't have to throw a ton of passes. Tonight, he had to be the guy on offense. And when it wasn't Mitchell Summers running the football at distance, at nauseum, it was Faison Brandon making plays down the field, getting his guys the football.
52 seconds left in this fourth quarter. What can Huff orchestrate late? Here's Holmental. Good kick. Brady from the 20. Brady gets a block, and nice field position here for Huff with 46 seconds left.
So you got to start thinking they're going to start looking down the field, drop back passing here. Where is Bryce Davis? We've called his name on multiple different occasions tonight, but it hasn't been for sacks. Comes to this game with 17.
46 seconds left.
For Grimsley, those 2 receivers at the bottom, Brady and Evans, they've got to be on your top priority list.
Blankney on first down. Looks left, goes short, that's a catch. No, rolled incomplete. Lost it on the ground. And they will, okay, this is confusing. It's ruled a catch and out of bounds.
Yes.
41 seconds left.
On point, on target, on time. Great throw there by Blakeney. With that a little bit behind. Brady has to wait for it, but good job slowing down to catch that football and then getting out of bounds.
Sean Brady, the Gardner-Webb signee at the FCS level. There's a late comeback with 41 seconds. Blankney has time. There's the first down. Good tackle in open space. And the clock stops for the moment, resetting on the Brady connection. 35 seconds left. Clock moving. Blankney wants Evans. Lot of coverage, pass interference.
Yeah. And I don't know that he even had to make that play getting out there. Ramir Harris Dupree out in coverage that time.
26 seconds remaining, and there's a big flag.
Pass just seemed to sail. Did not need to make that contact.
Plenty of timeouts for Huff, too, with 2 remaining. Now you're in great field position at the 36.
Wow. I don't know that there was need for that contact. It just seemed like the pass was too far out towards the sideline. Evans didn't really have a great play on it. But nevertheless.
Trey Blankney, 41 passing touchdowns this year. Needing a huge score in the 4th. Blankney steps up, he's hit, and taken down. Bryce Davis all over it. Timeout, Huff. 16 seconds left.
Well, there he is. Finally, the pass rush gets home. Bryce Davis waiting for him to make that impact on this game tonight. Forces Blakeney to step up in the pocket into the waiting arms of other Whirlies defenders. Wins the inside battle on the left side here. Oh, swallowed up. That is one heck of a sack. That is one heck of a player.
The 4-star signee to Duke, making his presence felt late. 18 sacks for Davis.
And I make that mistake. Jaden Wardlaw was the defender on the left that brought that pressure and forced Blakeney to step up into the waiting arms of Bruce Davis.
Still 1 timeout. You can play over the middle of the field here if you're Huff, but got to get in basically throwing to the end zone range.
Realistically, yes. And this is one of those instances where the closer now you get to the goal line, it goes against the defense because you have to spread them out more. Less to cover, yes, but you still spread them out more. They can't just go simply into a prevent.
Trip to the region finals on the line in North Carolina. Trey Blankney down to his final 18 seconds. Blankney slides up, rolls out. What the catch! He's short of the first. Timeout, Huff, with 10 seconds.
So you pick up the first down here, clock stops to reset the chains. At that point, you are spiking the football. But it's got to be a quick play. So you're either throwing in the middle of the field where you know you're getting that first down, or you are throwing to the sideline.
Timeout with 10 seconds left on the Riddle Tractor first. Or actually, they don't rule it a first. It's 3rd and a yard coming up. Do you go end zone here, or do you go first down if you're Huff?
You gotta go first down. You gotta go first down here. Unless you feel like there is a shot to take into the end zone here. And I'm starting to think at this point in the game, if you're taking that shot, schematically, they're dropping back, so you're not gonna beat them over the top. I've got a guy who is 6'3", arguably 6'4", lanky on the outside, Tyran Evans. Am I throwing a jump ball to him in the end zone and seeing what happens? Because there's not a defender height-wise that's going to match up with him.
Grimsley can taste a trip to the region final versus Weddington. Huff down to its final chance. Here's 3rd and 2. Blankney steps out. Blankney, end zone! Knocked away, but still 3 seconds. Still time, and 4th down.
But Blakeney makes the right decision. Just get the football out of your hands. You cannot go down in the field of play, but I gotta tell you, I'm taking that football, I'm running, I'm getting the first down and get out of bounds. Now 3 seconds left, this is it. This is game.
3rd straight meeting down to the final play. Trey Blankney, 42 touchdowns this year. What magic does the Austin Peay commit have left?
protection has to hold up. If you are Huff, protection has to hold up. Give Blakeney and these receivers a chance.
4th and the ball game. Blakeney, end zone. Evans, caught, tipped away, incomplete. Grimsley advances, heading to the region final. Evans nearly had it. Great coverage from Josiah Hussey.
Well, it's the go ball that you look for in that situation. You're taking that shot down the field to your tallest player, your biggest receiver, and you're saying, go make me a play. The coverage too tight down the field. What a game.
We'll come back with more from Greensboro. Welcome back to Jamison Stadium. Electric finish. Grimsley, Huff, literal players in the stands celebrating a wild finish. And a last-second stop puts it away. And how about our final My 48 play of the game? A little trickeration for Grimsley to win it with DJ Howerton.
Just absolutely masterful play call. You talk about the play call itself, the timing of it, the execution. It could not have gone any better. It was picture perfect. Exactly as you draw it up in practice, in the film room, everywhere you go. DJ Howerton just sneaks out the backside. No one, again, within 20 yards of him catching that football. He strolls in the go-ahead touchdown. That is the My 48 Sports play of the game.
And Mitchell Summers, 287 yards tonight.
Dynamo. Everything they needed him to be tonight, he was. The long rushing touchdowns, of course, were the highlights. But it was everything else, the tough running he did in between the tackles, 4th down conversions. This was the premier running back in this game tonight. Mitchell Summers does it yet again.
And the celebration's on. There's Mitchell, celebrating with his family, and a rematch with Weddington in the region final. 2 rounds away from the state championships. It's a fun night. Our Linder Turf and Tractor scoring summary. Linder Turf and Tractor, your choice for Kubota construction and agricultural equipment in the Greensboro area. Man, what a finish. Last-minute touchdown. Huff a chance late, but too much in the #1 seed.
Yeah, and everything that we kind of thought going through the postseason play, thinking, oh, this game has to be here, has to be like this, how everything has to shake out. We kind of looked at this game and said, hey,
if we can get to this point, we're going to be sitting pretty, and man, did this game deliver.
Mitchell Summers and this Grimsley crew having so much fun. One, they forgot it's 20 degrees out, and two, we got to talk to Hannah Brady.
I promise you, there is not a person on the field right now that feels like it's 20 degrees.
Not on the winning side, that's for sure.
The adrenaline that's got to be pumping through there right now is unreal.
3 straight years these programs have gone back and forth, and it literally comes down to the final minute.
Can't say enough about Grimsley. Can't say enough about what Huff did either. A great effort by the Huskies, but for the 3rd year in a row, not able to seal the deal and get it done.
Okay, now she's ready on the field. Hannah Brady, take it away.
Coach, you told me this week you wanted to stay poised and stay composed. How did this team do that to get the win tonight?
We did exactly what we talked about. We never panicked. We just continue to fight, continue to believe. And like these guys, I love these guys because they believe in us and they understand everything that we do is for these moments. And when it gets hard, we get better.
Now, Mitchell Summers was our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds player of the game. He totaled over 6,000 career yards with this win tonight. How did he step up big for you?
Everybody played big, but these guys know. Mitch may be one of the smallest guys on our team, but he's one of the biggest, isn't he, fellas? And he plays with a lot of heart. He plays with a lot of heart and a lot of passion, like a lot of our guys, and he's just a model of what we're all about.
Now, Mitchell, what can you say about your performance tonight and how hard you played?
I couldn't have done this without my team. The preparation that we had during practice, they pushed me to my limits. I put all my faith in my O-line, my D-line, everybody on my team. We gonna remember the one. We got till next week.
Well, you are our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds player of the night. But guys, you move on to the next round, your 3rd time beating Huff in the playoffs. What does this say about this team?
Well, first of all, I got a lot of respect for those guys. And, you know, they're down 2 scores at the half. They battle and get back in the game. That speaks volumes of their character and their coaching staff. So got a lot of respect for Coach Baker. I like him. He's a good friend of mine. So just proud of our guys, how they fought. It's a great high school football game, and this is what high school football is all about here tonight.
Well, congratulations to all of you, and enjoy this win, and best of luck in the next round of the playoffs. Yes,
That's the winner right there. We want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors who made this special playoff game possible. Capital Metals and High Point Cook Rentals and Mountain Fried Chicken, among many others. And finally, to all these teams to make things happen, including Huff coming up from the Charlotte area for a fun playoff matchup. Coming up next, we'll see you for the state championship game in a couple of weeks. December 20th and the 21st in the Raleigh or Chapel Hill. Check it out on My 48. For our talented crew all season long, for Drew DiMarcantonio, he's got a baby coming, and what a treat for all of us tonight. For Lori Bates and our talented crew, Mark Covert, Hannah Brady, I'm EvanBudrovich, many more to thank. Fun season of high school football. Grimsley, top-ranked team in the state, moving on to face Weddington in a region final. For all of us here in Greensboro, we say good night on My 48 Sports.